Hello, can you hear me? Hello, 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 hello. Hello? Is anybody there? I'm just fucking around, waiting for this Twitch stream to start up. Just really quick, I want to thank Enderheart for the amazing art that he's been sending me my way. He's like, little fan art for you. Is that... Let's see. Little fan art for you before the trailer drops. Thanks, man. I didn't actually see this before that happened. Yeah, pretty cool. Pretty cool. Enderheart. I'd link his YouTube channel, but I can't seem to find it. Yeah, it'll definitely be a while, but I guess that gives me time to say a couple of things. Man, that freaking what is it? That freaking pre-order thing is expensive as hell. 120? Oh. Ah, man, I don't know. Yeah, it's 120, but according to the developers, they said here in the Discord, "Hi all, to note here real quick, when we have reached 1,000 pre-orders, the mousepad option will not be shown. Wait, will be shown as not available, or not a preset when we reach the 1,000." Oh wait, I thought they said that they already reached it. Oh, I thought I saw that, didn't I? Somebody said that. I don't remember. But anyways, yeah, that pre-order is kind of expensive, but I'm probably going to get it just to, you know, just to show it off for you guys, see what's going on. Probably get it later when I have more money, but, you know, I'm definitely going to get it. Listen, I don't support pre-orders normally, but this is an indie game developer and they seem to actually want to be doing things, you know? So, I mean, I guess I'll make this an exception just this one time because I usually don't like pre-orders. And that's basically a lot of things that's a lot of what everybody's saying in my chat is that they don't really like pre-orders, but they're probably going to get it. Now, whether or not they're going to go for the support edition, I don't know. Because the support edition is kind of pricey. 120 though, bro. Yeah, man, I already have the mouse pad, but depends on if you really want to buy the product. It is not finished yet, but basically funding. Yeah, pretty much. Like the pre-orders are going to help Void Interactive because all the money that you send to them goes directly to them. And so, I mean, at this point, we're just waiting for the stream to start. You're going to buy in a month or two because you want to make them the best game as possible. Yeah, I'm probably going to wait till next month to buy it because the 120 is kind of a pricey price tag for me right now. So when I get my next paycheck, then I'll go out and buy it. But for now, I'm just going to have to sit on it. But yeah, I'm looking at it right now. Like, hold on a second. Everybody's like, bruh, in the freaking Discord chat over here. That shit's kind of expensive. Let's see. With this, you'll get full game beta access in 2020, alpha access in August of 2019. When's August? March, April, May, June, July, August. Now, is this like full August or is it like just 1 week? I mean, it doesn't say. Should really specify that. And then you also get the FBI HRT pack, which is just a skin, I'm guessing. 25% discount on the first expansion. And for the first 1,000 pre-orders, you will receive the official Ready or Not mousepad. If I get a mousepad, I just give it away. Email address. Yeah. So I'm going to have to wait on that until I get my next paycheck, but yeah. How are you going? How am I doing? Pretty good. Q4 is 2020 is a long way to go. Yeah, just tell me about it. You bought an EOD for Tarkov and you are willing to bet this game will release first. I have no idea. 120 American. Yeah, 120 American bucks. That's a lot. Oh, it's kind of steep for me. You think they will lower the price? I think that if they don't get enough pre-orders, they probably will, but I don't know. I don't listen. This is no confirmation at all. Don't take my words as, you know, as written down on paper or anything like that. But more than likely, I will be getting the supporter edition, but I'm gonna have to wait. You're probably gonna be alpha from August until the beta and release, like Insurgency did. Maybe. You think the game will have limited access to be released to the beta owners at a later date? You don't think it's the timed alpha? I don't know. Maybe. Because I mean, it doesn't have a date on it though. Hello, hope you're not late. Nope, it hasn't started yet. The Twitch hasn't started. It starts at around 8 p.m. for me. Game projected release Q4 2020. Fuck, that's expensive. Oh my goodness. Who's pinging me? Which one of y'all pinging me? I don't even know actually. Oh snap, we have people that actually bought it. They said fuck it and bought it. Oh my god, those brave souls. Yeah, just the mean contaminant. The meme tab on frickin' Void Interactive's Discord is basically just bruh. Like they're spamming it. You already got the mousepad, so like no points to gaining the support. Yeah, you're kind of right. But that alpha early access though, that's the only thing that's like, do I really want that? Do I really want it? Supporters edition is 150 in Australia. You fucking serious? Oh my god. Hey, you just bought the supporter edition. If you go broke, it's all your fault. Yeah, probably. You bought it. You bought it as well. You threw down 120. Oh man, you guys are gonna make me buy it. Shit. Once again, Enderheart, thank you for the cool looking picture right here, bro. Gotta say, I might just take that. You don't mind if I take that and use it as like a profile for Twitter, right? Might just borrow that. Let's see, how do I change it? Profile. How do I edit? Wait, 160 in Canadians? Or are you screwing with me? They will probably let you in anyways. I don't know. They haven't talked to me at all. Not recently. Not recently anyway. How do I switch my is there a settings button? I'm afraid to look at. Whatever, I'll do it later. Alright, so let's see. Is the Twitch up? No. Durag, if you want to be one of the first to show it off, then do it. It would be good for sub counts. I mean, you're kind of right. But I don't know. It's kind of expensive. Have they played the gameplay trailer? Yeah, they played it. It's actually live on their YouTube channel right now. I watched it earlier. This is a game that will get me into streaming, so I have to. Well, good luck with that. I don't really like streaming, but I don't mind doing it like once in a while, but I can't do it every day. As a Canadian, all you can say is... Wait, what? As a Canadian, I can say what? F? Is it forever? We all know that Klean is getting a free copy. Probably. I wouldn't be surprised. So the stream that we just did is apparently not safe for advertisers. So no money for Durag, I guess. There goes that idea. What the fuck? You don't have that kind of money? Yeah, like... The only thing that I like is the alpha axis. But aside from that, everything is just like... Eh. Like, I already have a mouse pad. Like, I don't need it. 25% discount, though? That sounds pretty good. On expansion packs. And these are going to be, like, brand new missions, too. They're not going to be, like, a map and 2 characters like how Siege does it. Debating. Alright, so we got about 10 minutes before the thing actually starts. So how's everybody else's day going? Realism first. Void Interactive have consulted with police teams globally in order to create rules of engagement and scoring system that are both challenging and realistic in order to push the bar further with realism. Ready or Not models ballistic penetration, ricochet, cavalier, and plate dynamics, as well as projectile expansion and momentum. You still can't believe that I set an alarm to watch 2 a.m. to watch your stream. Great quality, by the way. Here's 110. Wait, what? Just to pay the 110. May God have mercy upon my poor soul. Yeah. Everything in Ready or Not will be unsafe for advertisers and gore. Yeah, I know. And it's like, for fuck's sake. Ugh. That sucks. Like, my stream, the last stream got unsafe for advertisers, at least I think. Hold on a second. Yeah, they just implemented a new system, and I'm still trying to get used to it. Let's see, videos. Oh no. Okay, they actually turned it back on. Yay! Oh wait. Damn it, Insurgency, are you serious? What the fuck? No new information on the ARG. I don't know. I have to like dig into the trailer to see if there's anything that's actually new. Because my understanding is that the ARG actually goes beyond the trailer itself. Robust and natural controls. Explore a deep and involved weapon handling and player maneuvering system geared towards providing officers with an unprecedented level of control over their situational effectiveness. Ready or Not utilizes a simple and organic control scheme which won't have players fumbling around forgetting dozens of keys. Let's see, we got about 8 more minutes before the thing starts. Organization, support, strategize through the floor plans, and mission briefs, then execute the mission in real time. Officers can decide to deploy with items such as ballistic shields or door rams, tactical ladders, and much more. SWAT units can choose to enlist their personnel to assist with their situation, including sniper teams and negotiators. Was this game made by EA? I mean, there's no microtransactions, so I mean, I don't think so. Guys, I like Siege. I do, but Siege has now become a strange fan base. Weeaboo crap with weird fan art. Plus with shipping. Well, that sucks. 30 minutes. 30 minutes. Our relaunched website is now up and running, which I'm looking at it now. Is there anything new on the Instagram? In 10 minutes, we're going live on Twitch. That's actually a cool looking background that they have right there. Bruh, EFT won't be out by the time. Whoa, whoa, whoa. The artwork is the best part. Powered by Sola Site Builder? Alright, so 5 minutes until the stream starts. They're over here playing Apex Legends. Is there anything that's going on with Void Interactive anywhere else? We're about to go live in 5 minutes on Twitch with Donut Operator, Clean Streams, Tweak GG to discuss Ready or Not extensively and answer questions from the Black Side team on Discord. If you would like to join us, come over to Twitch Clean. Alright, so about 4 minutes. This game will flop and we all kind of know it, but I don't want to admit it. I mean, how do you know whether a game flops or not? I mean, if a game sells a lot, does that really count as a flop? Like, they made the money. There's apparently a straw poll going on. And let me guess. Yep, yeah, that figures. Yeah, there was a straw poll to see whether or not they want to reduce the price down to $80. Wait, what? Hold on. I want to read that. What did it say? What is the number one thing you want to see in the game? I just want it to work. Like, I don't want a game that's freaking broken, you know? I want it to be as good as SWAT 4 is, if not better. Don't read my text? Oh, shit. I think I read it. Uh-oh. Ready or not, 2020. 10 out of 10, right? Well, the waiting game only just begun. Let's see. 2 minutes. 2 minutes until the thing. God damn, that 120 though. So how's everybody doing tonight? It is currently 8 o'clock where I am, as you can see at the bottom right of the screen. Bro, the fat, this game isn't until 2020. Just kind of kills my hype. Maybe I'll come back to this in ahead, but this game is dead to me. Okay. Well, have fun then. Did anyone think the voice acting was pretty underwhelming? I mean, I thought it was okay. We'll have to see how it actually is when we're actually playing the game. I'm a little stuffy today. Me? Probably. I don't know. Yo, shout out. Who am I shouting out? Cat Ninja? Can't text while you're playing a game. Where my boy Durag at? I'm right here. 1 minute. 1 minute. 1 minute. And then this guy doesn't look like he's actually... Well, he's hosting, so I guess that makes sense. Bonet Boperator will be there. What are your thoughts on the 2020 release date? Fuck, that's a long wait. Pretty much that's all I got to say about that. That's a long wait. But you know that games can take a while. That's the thing. Especially ones that want to be great. It can take a while. See if you can get free alpha access. What did that say? See if you get free alpha access. Doing a lot more than the other YouTubers trying to promote it. I mean, I'll try, but you know, no promises. Are you happy about the trailer reel? Yeah, I'm happy. I can't wait to really dig into it to see what's really going on. But that probably won't be till next week because I have family that's actually coming down on... What's tomorrow? Tomorrow, I think? Yeah, tomorrow. Probably won't be till next week. Yeah, it's just a, you know, it's just a waiting game. That's the only thing. I'm apparently a legend. Refresh tush? Refresh? Refresh? Oh, there we go. They're just showing off the trailer right now. We already saw that. Do we want to watch the trailer again or no? I really don't know if we want to watch the trailer, but fuck it, right? Turn down the music. Probably turn off my mic, maybe. Do I want to turn off my mic?
Also known as SWAT. Inspired by real-world events, the game is a blend of first-person action and tactical strategy, wrapped in a unique, detailed, and twisted facsimile of a modern United States. Ready or Not's vision of America is downtrodden, cruel, and corrupt. You're given the difficult task of bringing some semblance of order to a city divided by crime across a single-player story. Team up with friends to take down suspects in a cooperative mode, or battle a rogue movement in PvP. You're placed in the boots of an officer in the city's SWAT, a unit equipped with military hardware, tasked with protection, taking on high-risk situations, and bringing order to chaos. In Ready or Not, you will encounter a wide array of unique characters, all with their own stories that contribute to the narrative thread, from kingpin drug dealers, to beat cops, to school children. Collaborating with law enforcement, Void Interactive's goal is to create an authentic and accurate tactical experience with Ready or Not. You and your team are able to customize their personnel, gear, and weaponry to appropriately fit each mission's objectives. Armor can be customized to suit your playstyle, and with bullet-mapped interactions, the right selection may be imperative to survival. Where other titles only allow you to kill enemies, Ready or Not attempts to challenge how you handle combat.
Live analysis?
With a rule-based emphasis on less lethal and safe takedowns.
Gun down, drop it!
I'm doing what you say.
Yeah, like we're gonna be detained for long.
However, once provoked, the playing field becomes equal.
Lay down.
With an abundance of non-lethal alternatives, such as beanbag shotguns, tasers, and flashbangs, coercing targets into surrendering has never been easier. Levels come with situations
Say cheeky
that
bricky,
require
you say...
solving.
Wait. Say cheeky, you say...
Is intelligently
I say
randomized,
cheeky, you say bricky.
including target
Yo,
locations,
Durag, what am I
suspect
eating?
protection,
Nothing.
traps, and
I was
more.
just drinking something.
Provided within the game is a wide array of tools to assist your SWAT team. In
This is why I wanted to
as well as apprehending
turn on
combat
the
suspects.
filter so I
Players
wouldn't
can
get like the
create their own
background so you can hear my
strategies
breathing
during
and
the
shit.
mission planning phase. For example,
But you guys were saying that it was
knock out
like,
power
oh, there's a problem with it.
and slip in under the
I
cover
can't
of
seem to
darkness.
hear you.
Tactical ladders and door ramps to access
Well,
places
now you get the full experience. You can hear me breathing now.
marksmen to take
You can
shots
hear
at
me
the herd
rubbing my
breach.
beard. You can hear me
See
opening up a
and breach roofs
fucking soda.
and
Also.
campaigns. Or get behind a tactical shield for a less bullet-prone approach. All options are available to you when choosing a loadout best fit for your team.
Hear my fucking squeaky ass chair.
To carry into each mission.
So I'm guessing that this is the single player, but I don't know.
Talk reporting. Entry team, you're clear to
Oh no, it's co-op.
guest at
I just saw Easy Street's name.
Use the wand. Check for targets.
I just saw Easy Street's name.
Airgun ready. There's a lot of them. They all have guns.
I'm not sure if the stores are going to be connected. Like, I think they're all...
Truly
like-
ground the player in its world.
Hold on.
Attention has been put into every facet of the player control.
Like, I think they're going to be like each individual stories.
An unprecedented level of depth and detail. interacted with in many ways. Players may open them regularly, kick them in, or incrementally swing them open in order to insert a grenade or engage a target. A stealthy SWAT team may lockpick
Goddamn right, I cracked a cold one.
while a more aggressive unit may use a breaching shotgun to gain access. But be careful. Some suspects may booby trap doors with alarm systems, explosives.
You know, they said that there wasn't going to be any traps. Those liars.
The world of Ready or Not is unforgiving and brutal by nature. It features both open, maneuverable areas and claustrophobic spaces where one wrong move could make all the difference. While players command their own unit of operators, there's always someone higher in the chain of command looking for answers. Report everything to TOC, Tactical Operations Command, the directive unit tracking your progress. Utilizing integrity and patience in your mission will balance the odds of success. Chaos is dictated by the suspects and civilians' unpredictable nature during each mission. Tension and emotions for them will be high, so sometimes plans can go awry. Projectile types and velocity simulation put a spin on the already raised stakes. Bullets will penetrate through surfaces based on thickness, material, and speed. Ready or Not will accommodate a career mode where the player must orchestrate plans with an AI-driven SWAT team under their command. The game also includes a fierce tactical PvP environment where the Metro SWAT team will be faced against a rogue movement hell-bent on bringing the city to its knees. Void Interactive has aimed to cover all areas of gameplay by offering a fiercely competitive and entertaining set of multiplayer modes, but we will go into more detail at a later date. Void will aim to support the players in as many ways as possible, which includes the ability for you to host your own dedicated servers, or modify the game in order to add new weapons, textures, characters, levels, and more. Ready or Not is now available for pre-order through Void's.
All right, what's going on, everybody? What's going on, everyone? Welcome to the first ever Ready or Not Black Site podcast. This has been a quite a long time in the making. Yo, guys, thanks for stopping by. It's really good to see you all. Thanks for being here. So today we got Donut Operator Tweak, and we're also joined by two developers, Gunter as well as Ryan's, both Ready or Not developers. So, guys, thanks for stopping by.
I haven't heard
Guys,
Grunter's voice
welcome,
before.
welcome. Lots to talk about today. If develop Gunter and Ryan, would you guys please introduce yourselves?
Sure,
Alright, yep. I'm Rara NZ. I'm the technical director here at Void Interactive. I've got a background in software development and have pretty extensive experience with Unreal Engine 4. So I go from AI to networking, optimization. So I just handle it all. Yeah.
G'day, I'm Grunter, Ready or Not's art director. I'm a professional character artist by trade, and I've worked with a lot of companies. For example, recently with Heat Blur on the 14 Tomcat module for DCS. I love long walks on the beach, and I'm a single guy.
Right on. So, what can you tell us about Void, and what exactly is Ready or Not? Because that's what obviously everybody's here to hear about.
Sure. Yeah. So, as far as we're concerned, we were hearing the cries a lot for a modern, realistic tactical shooter. This is, harkens way back. How old SWAT for now? 10 years almost. And we banded together, Ryro, Chili, and I. Chili's the creative director. To try and create an immersive, brutal, but ultimately fun tactical shooter. And it's the first game being produced by Void Interactive, and we pretty much aim to deliver an ultimately team-centric experience to not only hardcore tactical players, but video game players of all kinds. Yeah, Ryan?
So basically, at our core, we're just trying to deliver a game that touches on subjects that most other game companies may want to avoid, but we're doing it in a respectful and professional managed way, and it should be enjoyed by many. So basically, the aim of Ready or Not is to produce a frantic, satisfying, realistic, close quarters combat tactical shooter with a reliance on team-based strategy and planning.
Pretty much sums it up.
That sounds awesome. I think a lot of people have been waiting for a true SWAT game to come out. quite some time, and I really feel like you guys are going to be able to deliver on that. Can you tell? So since you guys just did your gameplay reveal, can you guys tell us a little bit about the trailer? No need to talk about it too much, but just curious on like what your guys' thought process was when you're going to release, what kind of features you were showing off, what guys you liked particularly about it.
Yeah, sure. Well, basically, when we dropped the first trailer, the reveal, it was very cinematic, and it showed a lot of the story behind what we wanted to do, and that was great. But it didn't show much about the video game. So our main focus for this one was primarily just to put all the focus into the systems that we'd built over the years, and a lot of the features that we wanted to showcase. That was the primary goal. So it might appear, compared to the original trailer, it might appear a little flavorless, I guess. But ultimately, the goal there was just to make sure that everyone knows exactly what we're about, exactly what we want to show, and we didn't want to kind of ham it up too much, I guess.
Ryan, do you have any comments?
Yeah.
So it was taking what we had in the cinematic trailer first and doing things like making sure it's implemented in the right way. So where you see him use the door ram and it has that animation. So we wanted to make sure we represented that in game and the gameplay appropriately. So when you do that, it's there. It's in our vision of that cinematic trailer that we posted 2 years ago.
Absolutely. And one thing
honestly, there was a lot to show off. So it definitely served well to have this gameplay trailer come out now. Once all the features were essentially in. Yeah.
Absolutely. And one thing I think is great too is that you guys opened up your pre-orders, because if you guys didn't know, for those of you guys watching right now, you can pre-order the game now. Is that you guys opened up pre-orders?
Is Klean's mic?
Klean is muted.
Oh shit! Can you guys hear me?
There you go.
Yeah, there we go. I think I was actually pushing my push to talk. My bad. So
Klean is
that's
the
a
host,
long silence.
Yeah. So I was just saying. I think it's great that you guys released a gameplay trailer showing off all of the game's mechanics, actual gameplay, nothing CGI, nothing pre-rendered, before you guys actually opened up the pre-orders. I think that's really great, because a lot of developers, they'll throw like a really crazy trailer to hype a lot of people up, and they'll immediately open it up to pre-orders. So I do want to kind of commend you guys for that, for kind of basically showing people what they're buying into before they ever actually do pre-order a game.
Thanks, so we definitely did want to delay the trailer until it was in our vision, and then drop it when it's appropriate.
Absolutely.
And I think we've done that. So
nice. So moving on here, we're going to be getting into our first bit of topics here. We're going to be talking about the story and the themes of the lore. So what can you tell us about a lot of the central themes about Ready or Not? Like, what are like a lot of the key characters and events that are really taking place around your game?
So I'm going to try and I don't want to dance around the question, because it's a good question, and I want to answer it as much as possible without spoiling anything, right?
Sure.
So otherwise, our creative director is going to come over and murder me. But essentially, the game follows a character named Judge. He's a veteran of he's a SWAT veteran, essentially, and he's just joined this Metro Police Department SWAT team. And we are touching on a lot of topics which I would say affect a lot of people, a lot of officers in day-to-day life, and especially SWAT guys. But ultimately, there's a lot of, I really just can't talk about too much without spoiling it. It should, ideally, we want to, it's so hard, but ideally we want to be.
That's all right. We understand.
Yeah. Yeah. Ryan, you want to take on from there? Maybe about the gameplay perspective, honestly. That's probably the best thing we can talk about when it comes to the storyline.
So, I guess from a gameplay perspective, you'll just be progressing through a campaign. So if you successfully complete a mission, you'll move on to the next mission. And as missions progress, then you'll need a higher and higher score to move forward. So that requires the use of like less lethal and basically controlling the chaos in a mission and handling that appropriately. So, but essentially, the difficulty rises through the campaign and how you're required to handle the situation. And in the future, we may bring in like permadeath modes, or so when you die, you're out of the campaign, start again, kind of thing, or so that kind of stuff. So we're open.
Oh, sorry, go.
Yeah, I'm not spoiling the story here, obviously, but that's how the campaign is planning on being progressed.
Yeah, and ultimately. Yeah, go for it.
I have a question for the devs real quick. I don't want you to spoil anything, but does the main character have a mustache?
It's important.
He may grow one. Maybe.
If you take too long to play the campaign, he might have a mustache. That's all
We
I
have
can say.
one. We have one guy in the SWAT team who has a mustache, and his name's Eli. So he's the oldest SWAT operator on the team. Operator, SWAT guy on the team.
Operator, SWAT operator.
It works.
Yeah.
It works. Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool.
Cool guy.
For now, I don't know. He's kind of cool.
He's all right.
He has a mustache.
He loves his
then
MP7s. He loves his
badass.
MP7s. That's all I can tell you right now.
Thank you.
So I have a question.
You know, they did say there would
How
be extra
is death
content,
going to be
so we'll see.
like an integral part of the campaign? Because I know that, you guys are using that as, quite a heavy subject matter. How exactly is that going to affect the campaign and the story
Yeah.
without
So
being too
you mean-
spoilery?
Right. You mean in the sense of just general, like how it'll affect the player, or do you mean in the actual storyline, how death will be implemented?
As far as your own character goes, and I suppose with regards to the story.
Right. Yeah. Okay. How do I answer that one without
Spoiling everything.
I mean, ultimately, we definitely want to like. Okay, I can't say again about the story. Can't say anything about that. But death, as far as like players dying, for example, it's not going to be. It won't affect the storyline. I mean, our story is generally quite passive, in the sense that the story won't be for the players who aren't looking to play like a campaign, so to speak. They want to finish. Maybe they want to finish the single player, but just to play the campaign. If they're not looking for that, it's a very passive story. You have to be looking
So it
for
won't be
it.
told through like cutscenes or.
Yes, exactly. So cinematics are pretty thin, pretty rare. I mean, we are an indie company, so obviously we can't splurge on cinematics necessarily, as you know. But it's definitely a little different from what a lot of other games are going to be doing. But as far as dying goes, it won't be affecting you in the sense of like permadeath or anything like that. And yeah, I mean, it's hard to skirt around the question and spoil something by accident and then ruin the whole story.
Yeah,
So
Fair
I
enough.
imagine then, like as you go through the campaign, choosing to whether or not to kill or not kill, like maybe important key characters, will affect like the outcome of the story. Is that something you guys are going for?
No, yeah. So that's a good example of something we can't do right now. It's just it's a little out of our scope. I mean, we already have such a huge scope that having extra stuff like that, where it may affect like a Bioshock-esque kind of ending, where you have a good ending and a bad ending.
Okay.
But you never know. Maybe I'm lying.
Maybe.
Don't really wanna-
Okay. Fair enough.
I really wanna-
So can you go in and talk about the realism of Ready or Not? Because obviously, Ready or Not is a tactical shooter. It's in a way like a successor to like the old school SWAT games, old school recon, like Rainbow Six games and stuff like that. Like how are you guys going to balance like say the realism versus like a casual gameplay scale for other people? Like what parts of the game can everyone expect to be more focused on realism and other things that are a bit more fun and a bit more casual?
Right, yeah. So, I mean, as far as realism goes, we're big proponents for it. We love, essentially, the feeling of victory you get. If you're playing a game that is quite realistic and doesn't handhold you, we love that feeling, the feeling of a win, essentially.
Mm-hmm.
So, definitely yep, go on.
Oh, yeah, sorry. So we're definitely on the realistic side. But on that note, we wouldn't sacrifice the gameplay for realism. So
Yeah.
So you're
That's a
just
big
going
one,
for
honestly.
that lethal realism and non-lethal realism as well, because I know you guys are, as shown up in the trailer, you guys have a bunch of non-lethal weapons that you can use to apprehend or even incapacitate, your targets. So kind of
Absolutely.
yeah.
So kind of moving on, like what actually inspired you guys to make Ready or Not? Like what was your vision? Like what other games did you guys take a lot of inspiration from? Maybe even other films for Ready or Not.
Honestly, well, I'll speak for me personally. Basically, I played a lot of SWAT 4. It was the only game I could play on a dial-up, a multiplayer. I had 400 ping, but it still played okay. So yeah, I played hours and hours of SWAT 4, and then basically nothing had come out that had been like that since then. So that's my motivation to make Ready or Not.
Honestly, that, and I mean, growing up playing a lot of Rainbow Six 3, playing a lot of SWAT 3 and SWAT 4, it was, obviously a great motivator. And I mean, even to this day, it's still being played. And we got a lot of inspiration from films. Chinatown,
There's
for
definitely
example.
a film noir sort of vibe. So our creative director, he's takes his inspiration from various movies, and
Oh,
very
he's great.
noir.
Yeah,
It's
he
good.
loves it, and he's always popping up new ideas for us. Like he'll be like, "Hey, what if we do this? What if we do that?" And like for example, the hotel, you may have noticed there's a very Beaux Arts sort of style
Yeah,
to the
definitely,
lobby.
definitely.
Yeah, and it moved into and there's some Art Deco themes there. I mean, we love that kind of stuff, and you may have noticed some of the actual levels themselves are based off of real world places. We just love that. You know, we love the aesthetic of it, and the one thing we wanted to avoid a lot of was having concrete walls, wooden floors, and just these really kind of generic levels
Mhm.
that it won't really differentiate us from anybody else. And you
So
really
once
want
you've
to
been
be
through one
treating
room,
the
you've been
player.
through every room.
Yeah. So
Yeah,
you really want a
you want
sense
to
of
be
authenticity with your maps, then, is what you're going for.
exactly, and obviously heat is a huge inspiration for us as well, especially going forwards. It's going to be even bigger inspiration
Nice.
uh,
So
throughout
to kind
sounds.
of add on to that a little bit more, like were there any like real world instances, like real life events that inspired maybe even the story or the gameplay of Ready or Not?
Yeah, oh yeah, of course, heaps of them. I mean, I'm Australian, and we had around the time we were making this. I think it was around the time there was a Sydney siege, where a guy went into a Lindt cafe, which is like a chocolate cafe, and held them hostage. And it was the first terrorist attack on Australian soil for ages. Actually, it wasn't the first, but it would have been one of the first. And that was, it was quite harrowing to see that on your own home soil, your own home turf. And that was probably one of the first times we saw such a huge resurgence in our special police forces. I mean, they would have been doing things behind the scenes a lot, but yeah, definitely.
That,
For
that
sure.
when that Sydney siege happened, that was actually when Grunter hit me up. Do you want to make a SWAT game? So
That was him, was it? Yeah. Okay.
definitely is the motivation.
Nice.
That, and then there was a lot of stuff happening. I don't want to particularly point out anything specific, but if you play this, when you play this game, and you'll see the themes and you'll see what we're pointing it to, but we're not doing it in a way that makes fun of anybody. We're not doing it in a way that glorifies it. We're particularly doing it in a way just because it's real. It's realistic.
It's
These
real
things
life.
happen. I mean, the city that they're in and the fact that they're facing these events all the time might be a bit concerning. I don't know if you want to live there particularly, but I mean, overall, it's definitely, the real world events are a huge motivator for us.
Absolutely. Cool.
So, what kind of factions and groups and organizations will we be seeing in Ready or Not, even regardless of whether they're playable or not?
Right. So, I mean, you've got obviously your faculty from the police department. You've got your SWAT, of course, but you've also got you've got negotiators and people around the sidelines. We've got a fire department. Ideally, what will happen is you'll call in. You won't call in the fire department; they'll be there. But essentially, you might need to disable, knock out the power, or disable a fire alarm, something similar to those lines. Cut off a water main so that the sprinklers stop going off. That's a big one. Essentially, there's a lot of stuff like that, which we're hoping we can get in there because they do affect the gameplay. They do affect the gunplay quite considerably. If the fire alarm's going off, you can't hear anything.
Yeah, it's loud. Or
Obviously,
if the sprinklers are going
yeah,
off, water's gonna be all over the place. Lose your footing, maybe
exactly.
something like that.
Your visibility is going down. You might be able to hear, you hear a lot loud, hear things further away. So it becomes a little more, it definitely changes up the playing field. But as far as faculties go and factions and stuff, you've also got. For the multiplayer, we have the Rogue organization, and we're still kind of workshopping a name for them because we don't want to infringe on any copyright. But you've got a very IRA style Rogue organization comprised of some specific members who I won't go into right now, but you may recognize something one of them is holding, which alludes to something else in the trailer. And then we've also got
This is like
the
the joint
FBI.
operations
The FBI?
with the HRT and the SWAT team, and there's FBI on scene as well.
Absolutely, yeah. There's a joint strike operation, a joint operation mission in one of the levels, which is using federal and local police departments to
Will we
essentially.
be able to play as those people, like local PD and the feds?
Yeah, so you'll be able to play as local PD provided you've accessed you've got the original edition, and then the FBI will be for supporters. But essentially, the FBI is just a skin. It's not going to affect any gameplays.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, that's good to avoid any kind of like pay to win, because people can, get pretty lively about that. I feel like cosmetics are really the way to go, especially if you're somebody who's very eager about the game and you want to support and you want to get a cool little bit of a swag out of it. It's definitely the way to go.
What about
Absolutely.
the firefighters? Can you play as the firefighters, like use the hoses in non-lethal
Yeah,
way?
give me that fire axe, dude.
Yeah,
I
dude.
love that. You send
Are
a
there, like
firefighter in the front
protesters?
door.
Blast them with the fucking water hose, dude.
Entryman firefighter. You just go in there and hose people down. Oh, that'd be the best.
That'd be pretty.
And
Maybe
then all the
Delta.
SWAT operators make fun of you because you're a firefighter.
Maybe you could make it
Well,
a
when the
mystery.
SWAT go in and set the fire, you play the firefighter and go in and put it out.
It's like Splatoon, but ready or not style.
Let's see. So, will players have a sense of like personal identity? And obviously, well, because you said even with the pre-orders edition, there's going to be some skins available to people who buy those. But will there be like more like predetermined characters who have all these backstories? Like, how will you be able to customize them visually? People are going to be able to put like their own kind of personal twist on their characters if they want to.
Yep. So as far as like a personal thing, so you got patches you can put on your arm, so they're available in co-op and multiplayer. So you can set that to whatever you want, and it'll show on your character's shoulders. Um, you can
You love
customize your
face.
character, so you can play as any in co-op or whatever. You can play as any of the characters from the single player story. So you're able to be different operators and pick what one you want. And that's game by game. It's not a permanent choice.
Yeah, definitely. And there's also, of course, you got headwear and face wear. So you've got the ability to change your helmets out. We've got a heavy helmet. We've got night vision goggles. We've got flash resistant goggles, which I don't know if they really exist, but they're a pretty important part of the game design. You've got
well, I think that's where you draw.
You've got a lot of face wear.
I was gonna say, I think that's where you draw the line between like realistic is playable. You know what I mean? Like if it may not be realistic, but it fits to the game setting, it's fun and it works, right?
Exactly. I mean, ideally, real life, I'm pretty sure most SWAT guys, they just, they'll shrug off a flashbang, or at least they train for that. They get used to it.
I've heard.
But
yeah, we got a lot of stuff like
dude,
that.
that's a question about realism. Do you get tinnitus if you get hit with a flashbang too many times?
Wait, real tinnitus? No, yeah.
In the game,
like slowly over the course of the game, do you lose your 100?
That would be the dream. But they've all got ear pro. I don't know if the flashbangs and ear pro make a difference.
Well, it's really so in real life with flashbangs, when they detonate real close to you, it creates a lot of overpressure, and like that goes in your ears, your eyes, your nose, your mouth, and at times you can actually shit yourself if a flashbang goes off really close to you, because all that overpressure just totally discombobulates your body, makes you blind, deaf, and dumb for a bit.
So we flashbanging Grunter to get the most realism here?
Yeah, that's exactly what we're going to do. We're going to figure this all out entirely through me. Thanks. You guys would do that too. But I mean, essentially, as far as it goes, like, we want to kind of toe the line a little bit. And to finish off the question, as far as other customization goes, your character's face, like, you're not going to be able to, like, take a photo of your face FIFA style and put that in the game or anything like that. But we're definitely going to try and open up as many options as possible. And I mean, we love adding things too. We love adding characters and stuff. So odds are, right now, there's 8 SWAT faces. There are 8 SWAT officers you can play as. And then you're going to be able to then... hopefully, as we go forwards, we'll add more. I don't know. A good example of that was like SWAT 4. You could pick the VIP skin eventually, and the VIP voice was a good one. So yeah, we definitely sky's the limit, man. Sky's the limit, 100%.
On that note, as far as customizing other things, other gear, there's over 60 unique items in the game. So if you want to pick various weapons or optics or muzzle modifications, it's all go as far as that kind of customization.
Yeah.
So there's a large amount of variety in terms of like how you can spec your operator for what he's specializing in. Maybe he has a lot of gas and a gas mask. Maybe he's got a bunch of C2 charges. Maybe he's a breacher or he's got the shield. You guys are going to be able to allow the player base to have like a large variety of customization, which is really cool. So here's a interesting question. What's the deal with CoCoSa? We keep hearing about it. What's CoCoSa?
No. Here we go.
What's CoCoSa?
Well, you see, Klean, you might have to go look through the trailer a little bit. Maybe have a listen. And just see.
Listen? The keyword listen? Or
maybe dig through it a little bit? I don't know. Maybe. We'll see. Who knows? That's all I can say.
Okay.
Ryan, can you say anything else? I don't know. Anything to add there?
I could say CoCoSa, but that's all I can say.
I think I nails it on the head.
Fantastic. Okay. So moving on here, we're going to be getting into game modes and general gameplay chat. So the campaign. Now that we've had an opportunity to kind of learn about the universe of Ready or Not, we should talk about some of the game modes that players can expect within the campaign. Like, what exactly is going to be the main driving force for your campaign in terms of what the players are going to be able to do?
Ryan, you want to take that, or you want me to take that?
You take that one.
No worries. As far as the campaign and a lot of the modes, look, we're going to be getting a lot of. It's a pretty linear storyline for the campaign. Wait, did you mean as far as campaign? Did you mean like, are we going to be seeing bomb defusals? Are we going to be seeing escort missions?
Just really
So
everything.
your
Yeah,
question-
just everything about it. Like, what will the players' like general experience be throughout the campaign?
Look, it's likely that they'll be taken through a linear experience, and it'll
Well,
more than likely. Yep.
the levels themselves, they vary, but when you say linear experience, it's level to level, but the actual levels aren't linear, and that you could take them and solve them in any way possible.
So, and what happens is essentially is you'll play. We have a hub, so we have an HQ level, which you then go to per mission. So you'll be sent off on missions, and then in between you'll be sent to this hub. And for example, you'll be able to go around this area. There's the kill house there. You can compete, get access to. So you can compete in leaderboards for the kill house times, for run and gun courses. You can go around and basically experience this world. As I said before, we've got a very passive world. The world isn't necessarily in your face, like, oh, here's the storyline, here's a cutscene. You can go around and experience the world as you're in it and as you're modifying it. You'll talk to people and you'll hear them talking. Oh, did you hear about the gas station? Yeah, I heard they got all of them and stuff like that. So you'll be able to go around and actually experience that. It's not necessarily going to be very in your face. That's the big one.
So that reminds me of Metro. Metro does that. Like, there's all these kind of dialogue and like conversations just kind of going on in the background that you can eavesdrop on.
Yeah, so you could eavesdrop, you could pay attention to them. There are various things in the level if you paid attention to, you would have more understanding of it. But if you ran straight past it, that's fine too if you're that inclined.
Definitely.
Nothing holds you and forces you into the story.
Yeah, but that's the primary kind of the way that we're going to be showing everyone, like, playing through the campaign, is being able to go from level 1, then you go 1A, 2A, and 2A would be the HQ after you've experienced it. And that, I think that'll be a really good way of actually kind of conveying the story to the player, especially as the HQ may change and shift a little bit. But I don't want to go into that too much, just not right now.
Yeah, no, don't want any spoilers. I respect that.
I have a question, maybe, if you can answer it,
Go
not
for it.
spoiling. When you're playing on the map with the anal staircase, is it better to rush in or to like take it slow and plant?
How slippery are you? That's a real question.
How much lube do you bring?
How quick? Yeah, pretty much.
Did-
That's the main one.
Did you opt the one first, or?
There you go. Did you opt the one first? No, I think as far as the anal staircase goes, we're gonna have to wait and see what happens there,
Breach and queer.
and whether or not you can fit. I think it's the.
Sorry. I saw that in chat. It made me laugh.
I saw it, yeah.
Anyway, okay, so moving on. Can we talk about in the campaign? Are we just gonna be playing as SWAT, or are we ever gonna be able to play as like normal like police officers during the campaign?
No, so you'll only ever play as SWAT.
Only SWAT.
I mean,
Okay.
you're playing as a guy. You're playing as a guy in the campaign, at least the single player campaign.
Mhm.
You're playing as Judge, but you're not going to play as anybody else. That's primarily just that's it. I mean, it's a good question, and a lot of people have been asking for that. I mean, it's well requested. Oh, can I play as a first responder and stuff?
You're not going to have paperwork to do between missions or anything like that, so it's safe.
So no use of force reports at all.
Oh, you never know. Maybe DLC again. We'll see. You might be
DLC.
If there's high demand for a paperwork DLC, well, I'm open.
Yeah, absolutely.
Open to doing it.
For that realistic raid where you raid for 5 minutes and then fill out paperwork for the next 8 fucking hours of overtime.
Checkbox.
Yeah, you have no time to get, and then suddenly the campaign's 45 hours long, heaps of paperwork.
That would do it.
Oh, someone was asking,
Yeah.
you said something about roles earlier. Someone was asking, is there going to be a specific role for like a SWAT medic? Because every SWAT team, when they go into a situation like that, there's a dedicated.
Yes. So since we don't have a medication system, like there's no medical, you're not going to have to perform triage and then patch up people. I mean, Ryan and I, we played a lot of Armor and we loved Ace, for example, where you could do all this kind of stuff. You could give them morphine, epinephrine, and bandage them up and stuff. But ultimately, it doesn't translate well to the kind of fast and frantic gameplay we want to produce. So what you end up doing is kind of slowing this gameplay down to a halt almost with that. And I mean, absolutely, SWAT in real life, they have a SWAT medic. They'll have a guy who's dedicated to that. And the officers in the character models, they have, they'll have medical kits on them. They have a, I forgot what it's called on the back, and they have a tourniquet on their shoulder. So they have, a cat rig on their shoulder. So it's not going to be, it won't be a medical.
In real life, when you get hit, you're pretty down and out. And in this game, you might take a hit, and you can still obviously play because not every bullet's one hit KO. But in that same vein, you can't heal as well.
So once you get shot, you're basically just permanently kind of fucked for the rest of the mission.
Yeah, pretty much.
Well, it depends where you get shot, but we're not permanently punishing you for taking one shot. But then if you could heal up, then you could you take multiple shots and come back, and then it really changes the dynamic when you just shouldn't get shot in the first place. Because in a realistic sense, if you get shot, you're not going to be continuing the mission. You're going to be trying to get down and out, kind of thing.
Right on.
Exactly.
Okay, so kind of switching up here, moving on from like the campaign and all that. This is one thing that everybody, I'm pretty sure everyone in the chat is curious about: multiplayer game modes. Obviously, we're gonna have co-op and PvP. That's a given. But what kind of like specific multiplayer game modes can you tell us about today?
Ryan, you want to take that? It's your wheelhouse.
So at the moment in the game, we got your standard team deathmatch, and that's you have waves and you get reinforced if you die, kind of thing. We got VIP escorts, so that's escorting a VIP to a portion of the map while the other team has to arrest and secure that VIP for a certain amount of time and then kill them. And then we have we got gun game as well. So that's what we have at the moment. We're opening that up to party modes, so you could customize the rules for the game. We may rotate in and out game modes, that kind of thing. So it wouldn't be stuck to necessarily any set, but those are the the base kind of ones that would stay there.
Yeah, and on top of that, we are working with some SWAT 4 multiplayer, like some people who are quite big in the multiplayer scene, to then look at some other game modes and just polish the current ones. I mean, ultimately, we'd love to add rapid deployment, for example. I've heard that's a fan favorite, is rapid deployment, and maybe a bomb defusal mode of some sort.
Bomb defusal.
Yeah, like
and we have a
that would attract a lot of people for sure. I'd personally play that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, we have a couple ideas in the kitty, but it just depends on how much time we have and whether or not it's worth it. Because you could add a lot of game modes, and then you can only get 3 that get played.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah.
Awesome. So kind of going. Go ahead.
Sorry. So that's where the party mode kind of comes in, because then we could have a set of rules, and then you could tweak each individual game mode to how you kind of want to play it. Maybe you want to play VIP escort, but everyone has non-lethal or something like that,
Mm.
So you're open to having those kind of mutators with the game mode, so you can have a bit of freedom there, and then
badass.
So, how is the teamwork and planning going to come into play with regards to co-op missions or even in PvP, as far as it goes?
So in co-op, the planning phase, you can purchase various things like the sniper team, or you can knock out the power. You can plan your whole entry down to the letter on a map if you wanted to for the thing. You can take various entrance points. You can take various deployables like the grenade launcher or the shield or the battering ram or the telescopic ladder. So you have various tools at your disposal that you can assign to team members or take in. You can send 2 team members out the back entrance and 1 out the front, kind of thing. It's very customizable on how you want to handle the map. So the briefing is the briefing as well is like realistic. So it'll briefing's what the SWAT would know. So it may be incorrect. It may be it's just as far as they're aware. That's the scenario that they're going into.
Yeah,
and what kind of
floor plan as well?
What kind of like equipment can we expect to be using here? Like, tools that we can use to just assist in the mission, like, I don't know, helmet cams or hand signals and other things like this?
Yep. So every SWAT unit has a helmet cam on them, so you could pull out a tablet and you can view each person's camera. So it's a physical tablet you hold in the game. You got multi tools, so you can pick doors that are there. You got a wedge, so you can actually block doors that are there. C2 explosives, so you can, if you want to go the loud route, you can just go blow it open and get straight in there, kind of thing.
We provide a lot of options for players. I mean, also a big one, for example, we have deployables. So these are basically what you spend your points on. The team will get points as they go to spend on unlockable items, which they can then spawn in with in their SWAT truck. So in the Bearcat. So for example, like you've got door ramps, which are a big one. We've got tactical ladders, which are you can use to get to the height advantage. Where we're treating the levels as puzzles, so the height advantage might actually change and really help you out, especially if you need to look through like a little vent or look over a window or some obstruction. We've got drones. The drones are a big one, and then of course the gas launchers. So we've got a 6-round launcher which can shoot CS gas, stingers, and flashbangs. So you're really not limited in any way, but you are limited in the sense of how many of these things you can bring, if any at all.
Okay, cool.
So okay, we talked about the equipment. I want to know about like real world tactics. Would real world tactics be good in PvP to use against people? Like, do you think that would give someone the?
Do you mean like in PvP if you were to like optim on the door instead of just bowling straight through it?
Yeah,
Kind of thing.
like real world room clearing. Like not
hooking and crossing and-
Call of Duty bullshit running around just spraying people. Like actually
Apex
stacking
slides,
up on a
dude.
door. Yeah, zipping
I mean, there's-
zipping into the door.
There's definitely advantages to that. Like, let's say you had your team stacked on the door and the other team was just running willy nilly in the room, right? So you could opt you on that door. You could get a gauge on where they are and have your teammate, just shoot straight through the door at them, and they would have no idea what's going on. That's one example of an advantage you could use there.
We definitely want
or
to
you could-
emphasize. Oh, sorry, go on. Cutting you off.
No, sorry, I was pretty much done.
So,
Okay.
what about like solo players? Will a solo player just like be able to queue up into a match and like get assigned a team, or is it something that you want to have like 5 people with you already? Obviously, if you're going to be competitive, you have your same teammates that you play with and you have good cohesion with. But if somebody's just wanting to hop on and play by themselves, like, are they going to be able to matchmake and group with people?
Yep, absolutely.
Absolutely, yeah. I mean, and you'll be able to jump in anyway and just play with a team. We're not going to segment off squads. You're not going to be able to join in, make your own squad, lock it for 2 people, and then play the rest of the game. There is a huge emphasis on team play, and we definitely want to be pushing that as far as we can as we go forward. So yeah, you will, like, for example, to answer Donut's question from before as well, was like hooking and crossing, and you've got these guys going and slicing the pie and actually making sure that the area is clear in a proper tactical manner. That should provide you the advantage. And that's definitely what we're shooting for. I mean, granted, that's it's really hard to do as you go. It's hard to like just write down on paper. You got to actually continuously iterate on that. So yeah.
And you guys, again, you're playing in comp and casual mode, so people can kind of just go in and have some fun. I heard rumors of like a possible gun game mode where like at the end you can finish somebody off with like a battering ram or something crazy like that, or a taser or something stupid.
Definitely not a rumor. I just mentioned it, but
oh, you did.
100%.
I was just deaf there for a second.
Yeah. So you are correct though in that you do in the game with the battery ram kills. So
it's so hard.
Nice.
It's so hard.
it actually is nearly impossible, but it is pretty satisfying when you get it.
I can imagine.
And you send them to space. You send them to space when you hit them. It's
They
ridiculous.
just go flying.
But it's good fun.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Don't know, were you gonna say something?
Yeah. Someone in chat asked a pretty good question. As far as like real world stuff goes, if someone's standing beside a door and you hit it with a battering ram, will it ruin their day? Or like, what are you guys planning for that? Like, will the door?
Or like C2 charges too. That would be fun. Like somebody's on the back of a door and you put a charge on it and they just get blown backwards. That'd be great.
Oh yeah.
Yep, definitely.
It was a big thing in SWAT too. You'd wedge the door and then you'd wait for someone to try and open it, or you just stand on the other side because the door would get stuck, and then you just blow it open with the C2. It was great. Oh.
Okay. So again, to kind of add a little bit more about the multiplayer discussion, can we expect an experience and progression system in the game? Maybe something that would allow players to unlock cosmetics with enough experience and/or levels that they put in. Because I feel like with a lot of games like, just a lot of games out there, people like to have a kind of progression, on top of the system that they're playing. Are you guys going to do anything like that?
Yep. So it's split up into basically 2 facets. So you've got single player progression, which is based on the levels that you do, and it'll be level appropriate unlocks. So for example, the port you'll probably unlock night vision goggles in that area, as well as a weapon that may assist you more than others. For example, you can see this in example with Elite Force, Easy Streets Elite Force, where you've got unlocks as you go, which is, it's fantastic. It's a really brilliant way of introducing new weapons to the player as they tackle new environments. And then obviously, you got multiplayer progression, but we're trying to do something a little different in the sense that, you could go the Call of Duty route, where you just run through, get 50 headshots, get X skin, get 100 kills, and get another skin. And then what you end up with is it can get stale, I guess, and you end up grinding quite hard. Whereas we're kind of experimenting right now with upgrade point rewards, and then essentially the way to get those are through actions and that's based entirely on the weapon you're using. So, for example, a less than lethal shotgun like the beanbag shotgun, you might have to hit the player and then you might have to arrest them, but the report might not be necessary. So that would then award you experience towards getting another point, as opposed to just getting kills or getting arrests. Hopefully, we're just trying to spice it up a little bit, but not too much without going overboard.
Just to clarify, things like points allow you to, like, if you have more points with a weapon,
right,
you're able to put more attachments on the gun. So
Okay.
Yeah, or skins, for example. When it comes to skins, we want to make sure that, like, they're not just a red tiger skin or something like that. We want to make sure that they're quite exciting to look at,
But also immersive.
Different models,
grounded, yeah.
And immersive, yeah, but different models and stuff, for example, are a big one.
You don't want any like crazy dragon skins or like anything like that, right? It's like
no.
Yeah, just like
that would be
skins that would make sense for a SWAT operator to possibly have. I think that
no pink guns.
Yeah,
no pink guns, no pink operators,
or neon or anything like that. So here's another question.
Yeah, you can.
How are the servers going to be set up? Are you guys going to official, private, and dedicated, hosting rental companies, etc., etc.? Like, what's the server option going to be like for your player base?
So at the moment, you can local host, and we have dedicated servers available, and we may go through like a server hosting provider, or just so you can, if you wanted to just have the simple setup where you rent a server, then we'll do that as well. But otherwise, if you wanted the dedicated server files available to you, they'll be released.
Very well, thank you. So kind of moving on a bit into the AI, because I know AI is going to be a massive part of Ready or Not. You have civilians, you have different types of criminals, all varying in different levels of experience with what they can do, and different like levels, I guess you could say, of like stress, to where they're going to be able to fight and be a bit more aggressive in a very violent situation. A diverse and dynamic AI appear to be a large focus in the game, especially when attempting to create like your realistic and immersive environment. Like, what kind of believable experiences can happen when players are going through missions in Ready or Not, either co-op or PvP?
So in co-op, the AI, they have various like morale states, so they can be aggressive or defensive. They can fake things, so they may fake putting their hands up. They may get flashbang and just fire off a few shots. It's completely unpredictable in that nature. So whereas most other games, you might go into a game and you know exactly what you met one AI, and now you know what every single AI in the game is going to do. We're hoping to have something a bit different in that you have to understand what you're doing and what the consequences of doing that to the AI might happen. So the AI are player driven in that. You make the decisions, and the AI are trying to react to that constantly.
I see.
Is there a limit to how many cuffs you can have?
No.
Okay,
It's
so
just a
you
zip
hear
ties,
you hear
right?
that, guys? Cuff everyone. Zip
Everybody.
tie everyone.
That's right.
The
You have an
zip ties
infinite
tied.
bag of them, so you might as well. Yeah. But no, we don't want to limit that kind of stuff, because it's a central point of the game, central focus point.
What about their behavior a bit? Like, will they become like frightened, injured, motivated to like kill you, or like maybe just like run away? Like,
So they're real there. So each AI you come across it's a situation to solve on its own, and then coming across multiple AI, you're having to solve those situations, and then they're also interacting not just with you, but with other suspects and other civilians in the levels. So you're having to manage all of that.
Very
Can
well.
you just question real quick? Can you muzzle strike them when they don't listen to you?
No.
No, there's no muzzle
So
strike
we,
or
we, we,
punching.
we don't
Yeah.
currently have any way to hit the enemies in the game melee.
I was talking about the civilians that just don't listen very well.
You just
You
gotta
got a
send a
taser.
taser down their way.
Or pepper spray. That works
Yeah.
too. Spice up his
What
wings.
what size pepper spray canisters are we looking at? Are we looking like at the bear foggers or the little bitty ones, the little
Don't know how well versed we are in pepper spray sizes. I thought there was
we
like
need bear
maybe
pepper
2
spray.
types.
No,
Bear
the
mix.
shit they use at
no
the
bears
stuff
here
they
in
use
New
at
Zealand.
riots, like the stuff they use
Bears.
at protests, excuse me, to water the hip.
Protest.
Are
Yeah.
we referring to a maybe popular photo? The pepper sprays are about that size.
We've got a couple. We've got one type right now. It's quite small, actually. It's like the little. It's almost like a self-defense pepper spray. But going forwards, it wouldn't be out of the realm of possibility that we're going to change that because it is quite tiny. I think. Yeah. I mean, it's unlikely you'd see SWAT going into a situation with pepper spray, but giving them a better fighting chance than a self-defense canister would probably be the best idea.
What about tasers? Do tasers work every time?
So right now they do. Right now they work every time consistently, but we're definitely looking into, as I referenced before with Elite Force, having clothing thickness, the age of the individual, definitely affect how it affects them too. So if they're old, we'll probably figure out some way of creating toggles. They got like a pacemaker or something. You may kill them if they're too old. If they're drug inhibited, maybe it doesn't affect them much at all. But the most important thing is definitely that you can telegraph that. We don't want players going in there and like not knowing that they've got some sort of like they're high on like I don't know, crack, and then you hit them with the taser, and then nothing happens. You go, oh, what happened? We definitely want to be telegraphing that to the player beforehand, so they can actually visually identify a target. So yeah,
So you want them to
it's
understand
actually,
they can't just tase everyone. If you go tase that old guy, there's a chance he might die, and now that's on you. So
that's another level. Yeah.
So as far as, the suspects that you're going up against in the levels, will they be able to deceive you, like maybe put on the clothes of a civilian and, you get close, you might see them brandishing a gun that, a civilian wouldn't have, or could they go ahead and plant that on a civilian, to kind of trick you, or can we expect stuff like
at this stage, no, but those are very good ideas, and that it would be something we'd like to implement.
Definitely. There's also, I mean, they can deceive you in other ways, though. Obviously, yeah, we've mentioned before they feign surrendering, so they'll put the gun up, they'll go, okay, I'm dropping it, and they get to about waistline, and then they'll just pivot it towards you, or they'll drop the gun, then they'll have a sidearm, and it'll be concealed, of course, and they might draw that on you as you're moving in to make the arrest. There's a couple different ways they can deceive the player, and we want to continue to explore that, but yeah, that right now isn't on the horizon necessarily.
So are there going to be rewards for if you take them in alive? Like, are there perks to that?
Yeah, so right now it's mostly score incentives, which then affect your player level, which then affect what you can unlock for your weapons and how many things you can put on a weapon at a time. So right now, obviously, if you manage to bring everyone in alive, you're going to get the highest possible score,
Like the
which
S
is
rank.
based off of a couple.
SS rank.
That's right.
It reminds me of like Metal Gear Solid when you like clear a level,
Yeah, exactly.
all non-lethal. You'd use the trank gun and like you got like the best ranking. You didn't get spotted once or anything like that. Not even alert somebody.
Yeah.
It's so clean when you say that, no pun intended. But I mean, like you actually see, you see like those YouTube videos of the guys like running through it. They're just proning everywhere and they're managing to get through that entirely stealthed. We may not necessarily be putting a huge emphasis on stealth in that regard, but definitely, yeah, getting that proverbial S rank is pretty important to us. Is like being able to allow the player to do that and basically 100% the gameplay.
Yeah.
Although that being said, you could do that through killing people too. You're probably not going to get 100 out of 100 every time though, unless they're pointing their guns at you and the ROE is correct. Rules of engagement.
Okay. Cool. I mean, I guess one thing, in terms of stealth for Ready or Not is maybe planning correctly and getting the jump on your your targets, whatever, depending on like the map you're in, you can like kind of coordinate a plan how to ambush them, uh,
Yeah.
in a more proper way.
So taking down one suspect like non-lethally, usually pretty easy. But when you got multiple suspects trying to fight you, if you haven't managed that well, then you're obviously going to have to take some kills or kill someone or try your best to get them non-lethally down. But it ends up a pretty difficult situation when you have more than
Yeah,
one
definitely.
AI trying to fight you.
Are you guys looking at putting in a chance for the tasers to fail like they do all the time in real life?
How often do they fail in real life?
I don't have an exact percentage, but like you can look online and you can find just as many videos as tasers failing than them working.
Oh my god. Okay. I guess it's a possibility, but it might fall into the same sort of like thought process as weapon, like a not a
Degradation.
misfire. Yeah, not like where you might have a failure to like the feed might not work and stuff. So or jamming, sorry, jamming. It might fall into that same one. I think we'd rather the player not have that lack of confidence in their own weapon, because then what you'll end up doing is they'll be less likely to pick it. That being said, there's always room for realism if it's asked for enough. So if people are like, we want a really realistic mode, can you please just give us one? Tasers
it
suck in real life.
could be
And I have
modded
heard
in
that before. That tasers
something
suck.
like that.
Yeah, I have heard that before. I'm pretty sure. But like like if there is a request for that, there are these guys who they just don't care about. Like CS gas won't affect them. Like I think I've heard that too. Like CS gas doesn't affect everybody or something like that. There's maybe that's not it. But anyway,
No,
yeah,
no,
there's
there's
always
some
room for
people.
it.
Yeah, there are some people where CS and OC just doesn't affect them. They're freaks in nature. It's so weird.
There's actually a couple
Yeah.
guys who I went to combat training with. I kept in touch with them, and they did like the mace course for military police. And like one of the guys they had there, he just full can of mace in the face, and he was just doesn't nothing. He's fine, just fine.
So, as far as your characters becoming injured throughout your mission, is there going to be any way to recover from this? Is there going to be any medical systems? And when you die, is there any form of respawning system, or are you just down and out? And that's
Are you referring to the player
Yes.
the player, yeah.
in co-op?
In co-op, yeah.
Yeah.
Or in
so
yeah.
when if you get hit in the leg and that affects your movement speed, there's no way to recover from that. So you just continue playing through the mission. If you die, there's no way to respawn.
Yeah. That being said, though, some modes will probably will allow players to just go, "Oh, let us respawn if we play," because not everyone wants to go through and do a fully hardcore run, and 100% it. They might just want to have some fun. And if you get, but it is a pretty core focus of ours, and we don't want to waver from that too much. Is letting people respawn, for example, in cooperative. Though,
More about not
like
getting hit in the first place.
yeah, pretty much. We want to emphasize that people need to be careful. That's part of the hardcore nature, I guess, is just making sure that you are careful, and that is completely on us too, because we need to make sure that everything is in place so that when you play the game, you're not thinking, oh god, some bug's going to get me, or some guy's going to shoot me from across the map, and I'm not going to be able to see him first. So yeah.
So how's your guys' level design being taken into consideration as maps are being created for replayability, especially because obviously so many people can really play the same map at the same time without it kind of losing its flavor. What are your guys' thought process on that? And I guess you could say workflow.
Yeah, that's a great question. Actually, we've been getting into level design a lot recently. Like just taking a step back and actually looking at it, and going, okay, this doesn't work. This doesn't work. What other games have done it better? And then just really consolidating. As far as replayability goes, obviously the main one would be the way that players spawn. Sorry, not players. AI spawn. So their locations are random, but they're not entirely random. They're placed by us by hand, tested, so we know that their location is going to pose a problem to the player. It's not just going to be, entirely out of the blue. They might spawn on a wall, or they might spawn somewhere that's so easy. So that's definitely a huge focus of ours.
Yeah.
We've also, yep.
Sorry, it's basically we have randomization of AI spawns. We have varying skill levels, varying types of AI that end up on the level, and then they have varying equipment. So one time, you might go through and there's a guy with a gas mask, and then next time he doesn't have that, or he has a body armor or something, and the taser doesn't work. So there's different and how each time you play it. So you wouldn't run through 10 times and then have 10 of the mission be the same 10 times. It'd be very different each time.
Yeah, and as
But
far as the
within the
levels,
theme of the level.
yeah, as far as the levels design goes, though, those aren't. It's not random. It's not. It's not like that necessarily. We are experimenting with placing objects in the world that may change the actual environment just a little bit, just to mix it up. You know, maybe a door's blocked. Oh, doors get locked, by the way. So some doors will be locked, some will be unlocked. But as far as actual the changing of the environment, we are building each level with a real focus on making each a puzzle. So each room is a puzzle that you have to solve. Is kind of the focus for us right now. And you've got some larger puzzles, you've got some smaller ones, and that just wouldn't work if the AI was entirely random and if the placement of objects was entirely random. So yeah, hope that answers the question enough.
No, it does. That was great. Thank you. So we talked earlier about some of the inspirations that led you guys to develop this game, which we know includes like a lot of film and noir enemies and stuff like that that can clearly be seen in a lot of these kind of themes in Ready or Not. For your talk about some of the production that went into providing like a high fidelity in terms of like the imagination and attention to detail for the game. Like one of which, like the animations, like you guys mocap these animations at 240 FPS, which is like, that's a lot of frames for animations, like key animation frames. That's a lot. Could you guys go into detail about that a bit?
Sure, yeah. So starting last year, probably around mid last year, we were getting into the whole animation side of stuff. So we'd purchased a lot of mocap equipment. We set up our own little mocap studio and essentially just started recording as much as we possibly could. And so now a lot of the mocap is really high up there. The first person animations right now are done by hand, but we are planning on getting that all redone, motion capture style, as soon as humanly possible. Because our animator, shout out to Alex, has really big ideas on what we should be doing there. 240 FPS animations are really high, but they do provide an extra level of just excitement, especially if you slow down the gameplay and just look at it and you see that you fire the gun, and the slide rocks back, and then when it slams back into position, it kind of shakes a little bit. It does. You can notice it. You really can notice it over 30 FPS animations, which are pretty traditional.
Yeah, especially if you're running like a 140 hertz monitor or even like a 240 hertz monitor. Like, if you're for whatever reason getting 240 frames and you get to see all of the animation keyframes, like that would be just very pleasing to the eyes.
Yeah. It's creamy.
Yeah,
it's so good.
Creamy.
But, yeah, it's definitely a big focus of ours. As well as that. Actually, I'll let you go because that might be a question later on.
Okay.
A lot of people have commented on the facial animations. Are they done using the same tech?
No. So the facial animations right now are all hand animated by either myself or by our technical animator. And that's just because setting up a facial rig is pretty complicated and we just didn't have the time for it. Also, it wasn't a huge focus. We wanted to get the facial rig sorted because our characters in the game use a full body rig. Now, that doesn't necessarily mean that it's like a true third person, for example. I don't know how many viewers know about that, but like true third person is like armor, where your head is attached to the head bone of the character and they run around like that. We've got a similar kind of thing, more like Crisis. But as far as
a hybrid
that
true first person.
Yeah, it's actually the best you can probably get out of, like, it's the best result you could probably get out of both worlds. And yeah, no, the facial animation, for example, is it's just kind of, I wouldn't say placeholder, but probably the best way of saying it is placeholder. We have all the systems in place to get really nice facial animations done, and now it's just cooking it up and just getting all the lines done.
And then these facial animations are on characters that we've scanned into the game, so it's all high quality. The faces look real, so when you animate or when you create a face, normally you might spend time modeling it, but humans are very good at recognizing what face is real and what's been made. So the fact we've been able to scan them and get actual true to real life faces, it goes a long way for making it appear real.
Yeah, and it's definitely like getting the people to emote is, oh my god, it's so important. If you shoot some guy and he winces in pain, it does change the way that you engage people going forwards. So it is something going forwards. Moving ahead, that we want to be putting as much focus into as we can. Granted, though, as far as it goes, it's kind of like a tertiary effect. We'll get it done for sure, but like it's it's quite complicated in a lot of ways. But yeah, we definitely want to be continuing with this the facial capture pipeline, especially once we set that all up, and being able to telegraph exactly how someone's feeling, what they're going to do with their face, what they're looking at. It's got a lot of implications, I think, as well.
Have
Okay.
have you guys captured any mustaches at 240 frames per second?
Just
Actually,
the
Actually, yes.
blue
asking them
glowing.
blowing
Grunt's mustache. He grew it just to capture it, just for you, Donut Operator.
That's right. That's right. You're
Um,
gonna have to figure that one out. Little twiddle. You gotta move it. Yeah, no, we'll attach little mocap balls to each bristle, and then we'll just get that looking really smooth.
Advanced
I
hair
think that's
physics, physics X. I think
So,
Nvidia's already got that
so
covered.
we got more bones in the mustache than the whole skeleton. So
Hell yes.
Yeah.
So I know you guys mentioned earlier that there wasn't going to be too many cutscenes with regards to the campaign, but are you using mocap the same way as the gameplay along with the animations? And how does photo scanning interplay with all of that?
Right.
Just want to
So
talk about that for a little bit.
yeah, of course. Yeah, the mocap. If we're okay, so there are, I guess I wouldn't say cinematics, but there are kind of scenes, I guess, and the scenes would be using. I mean, they're all using mocap. Everything will be using mocap going forwards, like hand keying. We don't necessarily want to be doing it. We kind of want to avoid it, although it has its place. And then as far as photo scanning goes, I mean, we're using a pretty cool little system. It's called an RTech, and yeah, we'll essentially scan the people. We'll get their likeness in 3D, and then we'll basically then take it into a program like ZBrush, for example, and then we'll start sculpting extra details, because a scan is never perfect. It's not literally scan a character, put him in the game. There is a process to it, which takes a little bit of time. But since our workflow is so quick, it really would be easy to scan people and get them in the game, like within reason. Especially if you really think about how long a AAA pipeline might take to get a character into a game.
Okay. Could you tell us a little bit about the lighting in the game and how you guys have been going about developing that and some unique features that it might have?
Yeah, are you guys gonna use RTX and DLSS, like the deep learning anti-aliasing from Nvidia?
Ryan, you want to answer
Um, so at this stage, no. So the only AA we have is temporal AA. But going forward, we with the next Unreal Engine version, we do plan to implement the ray tracing in there for sure. Like
Nice.
going forward, it's a must.
We call the sus out, actually, just to have a look and just see, if it'll have its place. And going forwards, I mean, ray tracing is going to be. I'm so glad that it's come to the forefront, but it's going to be really cool once everyone's doing it.
Yeah, once it's
Don't know how long it's
once
gonna be, though.
it's like the standard. Remember when Physics X first came out? Like only a few games had it,
Yeah.
and you'd need like a beast of a card to have Physics X or Physics.
You need a
Yeah.
dedicated physics.
Yeah, and now like every single graphics card out can handle Physics just perfectly, and it's just a part of most games now.
Totally.
Yeah, I mean, well, games have to put the new tech in for the new tech to be adopted fully and all that. It's a bit of a cat and mouse there. For sure, we'd definitely do that.
So, moving on, this is probably the most important subject for me, because I think this is a massive part in a shooter and how the players can actually play it. Development of the player controller overall. How's the mocap animation work played into creating a controller? If you could describe how the player and the controller will feel to the players, and how will gear affect you and your different equipment that you choose to bring in.
Yeah, so as far as creating the player controller goes, we definitely needed to make sure that it was smooth and pretty reactive to the player. There's a huge problem these days where a lot of people, they'll rely entirely on the mocap to drive the animation. It's called root motion animation. And then as great as that is for things that you don't control, as soon as you start controlling it, it can get a bit tiresome, I guess. So we definitely... Yep.
Oh, sorry, it's good for like third person animation, but from a first person perspective, root motion doesn't feel so great.
Yeah, especially when you think about the fact when people talk about tactical shooters, in your mind, a lot of the time it does come back to clunk, I think. Maybe at least with me and some of the people I've talked to, making a tactical shooter, they go, oh, okay. And then, they're thinking of something slow. They're thinking of something where you may, it might take you a while to crouch down and stuff, and it's kind of sluggish. We wanted to try and avoid that as much as possible without going overboard and creating a really frantic and quick shooter, because that would be terrible. That would be a complete misstep. So I think we're in a good middle ground. And yeah, the players' decisions affect their weight. So that would probably be the only level of slug that you get. The only level of sluggishness is that so you've got plate carriers. You've got you can pick heavy or light armor, which is Kevlar coverage, and then you can also pick the plates. So you've got a front plate, you've got a rear plate, you've got a combination of both, and the sides. So these will, and obviously weapon selection. All of this will actually affect your player's movement speed, not to a drastic point where you're literally moving at like
a snail's pace.
Yeah, where you might as well just not move at all. But definitely to it, like it'll affect you enough for you to notice it in a faster
a nice
combat
slow
scenario.
tactical glide.
You'll really be.
We have all the like the features you'd expect from a tactical shooter without having the clunkiness. So you've got all the things like you can quick lean, so you can lean left and right, even free lean, so you can hold alt and you can use your movement keys to lean in any direction if you wanted to. So you can lean under stuff and then crouch and get even lower. So you can actually, you can't just peek over stuff. You can actually peek under stuff and fire at people. So it's very dynamic in how you can handle that.
Yeah.
Can you tell us about we'll have like features like free look and stuff like that, of course. I mean, I feel like that's kind of to be assumed. But are you going to support features like Track IR, Toby Eye Tracker, any of those cool features?
Yep. So Track IR is supported. Toby Eye Tracker is not, but free look's in the game as well, so you can just free look at any time.
Fantastic. My favorite feature, personally, the dynamic lean system that you guys have in the game. It's my favorite feature. I think it's fucking badass. Can you elaborate on that a bit?
Yep, sure. So as Ryan said, I
kind of just jumped the gun.
Yeah, you did, didn't you? The dynamic lean. It's where did we get it? I think it would have been. I mean, it was in Rainbow Six 3. I'm pretty sure. Yeah, it was. You could use it with the mouse and control your height and your direction. In ours, it's a little bit different. You hold down your Alt key or whatever key you decide, and then you have WASD and crouch, and then you have another combination of that. So you may have seen something similar to this in, I think Wolfenstein did it, the first Wolfenstein, the New Order, and I'm pretty sure it happened as well in Medal of Honor Warfighter for the PS3. I'm pretty sure that's what happened. So essentially, it was a really great way of allowing the player to have this control, but you didn't arrest their view. They could still look around. They could still turn around and engage a contact behind them. But this was ultimately, for us, it was almost a natural decision. It was one of the first things we implemented outside of the regular player controller, was this lean system. So you could, get on your tippy toes, look over something. Oh, is there a contact? Maybe hiding under the bed. I don't know if we're going to add that, but contacts. Is there a contact underneath something that we can see?
Can we get an R. Kelly in the closet, dude?
Yeah, 100%.
And I mean,
that would be creamy.
This dynamic lean.
Nice.
Nice. It works perfectly with the the weapon collision system. So when you're leaning up against the wall, with a pistol, you can be closer to the wall without them holding it back and all that kind of stuff. Whereas a longer rifle, you have to lean out, and it works well.
Honestly, the worst thing in games is when you crouch and the window is just too tall, and it's just above your sight line. You can't shoot anybody, so you have to stand up. This helps pretty much mitigate any issues, and it just it just feels good. It just feels really nice to use.
Yeah, I enjoy it.
I know I have to say that, but it's true.
It's fair.
Believe me.
You can be proud. It's all right. Yeah. So UI and HUD. How much HUD is going to be in the game?
It's very minimalist.
Very minimalist. Yeah. So like little to
it's
none.
Hidden. People saw the. Yeah, go on.
Yeah. So just have your walk speed indicator, your magazine reload thing is contextual, so it shows over the magazine just as you're reloading. You can hold R to mag check and it pops up over the magazine. It's not there all the time. It's contextual. And then you got things like a compass, and you can view obviously your friendly's name and their speed as well, so you can coordinate speeds and that kind of stuff.
Yeah, there's and obviously you have your gear. So we have this thing now. If you guys have played a lot of those old tactical shooters, you have to use basically every letter on your keyboard. You have to type out the alphabet to pull out a grenade. we wanted to avoid that as much as possible and condense it, primarily just because it feels way better to be able to condense and make 2 quick moves than it is to just have to reach across your keyboard to make a single quick move in this instance. So, for example, when you press down 3, you have a gear wheel that appears. I'll say it with an American accent, gear wheel. So basically what happens is...
Thank you.
No worries. Basically what will happen is it'll appear with grenades, any items that you've got, like door wedges, pepper spray, anything like that. As well as your player's ammo count, like not in the magazine, but overall, like how many magazines you have on your person for your primary, your secondary, and if you have a third weapon, for example, a beanbag shotgun, that'll appear as well. And you have your player's weight, and then any injury spots they have on their body. It's almost like a feedback point, so you can very quickly just assess the situation without kind of taking yourself out of the game too much. It is probably the most... It's the only intrusive part of our UI is that, outside of menus. But it's necessary in a lot of ways, I think. I can't imagine a game where you couldn't, do this. That would feel better, I guess, in a lot of ways. But yeah, that's probably that's the pinnacle of our UI, is having this wheel which adjusts to what you've selected and stuff. Hello?
Hold on. I think Klean. You having trouble?
Yeah. Sorry, no, I'm good.
God damn it,
I apologize.
Klean.
Sorry, I was trying to do...
Good job, host.
Rude. Who invited this guy, dude? Come on. All right.
You didn't even introduce me. It's okay.
We have learned a lot so far about what the game is and what the game modes will be and how it's going to play. Can you give us a nitty-gritty talk about the guns and the gear? Because that's something that a lot of people care about. Like, what kind of guns are we going to get? How much can we customize the guns, so on and so forth?
A wide variety of guns, and as many customization options as we can fit. We're not doing Tarkov levels of stuff, as awesome and incredible as that is being able to load up and take off a what do you call it? Whatever. I'm going to screw it up if I talk about the actual aspects of the gun. But as far as weapons go, we've got a wide variety. We've got guns from the 1960s or 1980s or something like that. We've got the AR-18 and an MPL, like the Walther MPL. And we've got guns that go all the way up to modern. We've got a SCAR, which apparently no one in real life actually likes, but in this game it's quite cool. We've got a lot of guns. I think we've got, and Ryan said before, we've got 60 items. And that doesn't include all of the optics that you can put on your weapons, which, yep. What's up?
Oh, so you're saying I can't attach many lasers to my gun to the point it looks like a smiley face?
No, and not flashlights to the point where you can blind people forever and just ruin their day. Because then what's the point of having a flashbang? You can just blind everybody around corners. But I mean, it's done very well in those games, no doubt. And I mean, I could only imagine us doing that ourselves. It would be incredible. It's just, you don't want to be adding too many features. You get feature creep and then the game never comes out. It would be so.
On that note, the weapon list isn't necessarily static, so it does constantly expand. So just from a technical point of view, like if we wanted to add a new weapon to the game and we had all the, the things already set up for like the mesh and the animations, adding a new gun takes us, an hour or less kind of thing. So it's expanding all the time and has been expanding as well.
It's good fun, yeah. But it's and obviously we have like just to cap off my end is like we have a lot of attachments and not just optics. Optics play a big part naturally for like target acquisition, makes it way easier than using iron sights, especially in video games where you don't have the your eye doesn't adjust to the front sight, whatever. We have optics like that, and then we also have foregrips, which will affect the way you handle the weapon. We have a soft dead zone in the game, so having, for example, an AFG may actually adjust just how much dead zone you get. Vertical obviously is going to decrease the amount of vertical recoil you get, and then we have like hand stops. We've got extended magazines. Some pistols have base pad magazine, like that extra like 1 round in them, which it might save your life.
It could. It always could.
Yeah, and then we have lights. Yeah, we have PEC 15. We have some optics, some lasers, and some flashlights. And we would love to expand that too, and just continue going with that. It really just depends on how much time we get at the end to just kind of have fun and go ham with it.
Can you tell us about the weapon handling? Are we going to be able to do retaining reloads, fast reloads? Is there going to be staged, reloads for the weapons? Elaborate a bit on that.
Yep. Sure. Yeah. So basically when it comes to staged, we haven't done staged yet. I don't think the weapons don't. You can if you're mid reload, you just can't swap. Can you? Yeah, I think you can swap. But going forward, we'd love to make it staged, similar to Sandstorm, and having that. Yeah, that would be great.
I
There's
love
weapon
their
retention.
retention system is nice. I love their mag retention system in Sandstorm.
Yeah, it's really good.
Yeah.
And we're essentially so we're doing a similar thing. I mean, magazines get kept on your person unless you fast reload. So we have a quick reload and we have a regular reload where obviously you swap magazines.
Mhm.
And a fast you're ejecting it as quick as possible and putting a new one in.
You can
there's
use
a lot
the
of that.
fast reload system actually to give magazines to your friends if
That's
they have
right.
the same magazine type. Actually,
Yeah, we had a game and we both were running MP5 A2s, and he threw me an MP5 mag and I caught it, and it was the coolest experience. It was so cool. It was dope.
That is pretty.
Because I was out, man. I had no mag. Yeah, but that's as far as that goes, it's a big focus of ours to make sure that the magazine and weapon handling specifically is smooth.
Yeah, I feel
and
like
responsive.
I feel like that's very important. How about suppressors?
Yeah.
Most games get them wrong completely. Like, how are you guys going to do suppressors?
Yeah, so they're not really silent. And they increase your muzzle velocity. So you could be at risk of over penetrating, although it's quite minuscule.
Mhm.
The biggest thing about a suppressor is obviously, it's not as loud. Ultimately in the game, it's not going to make a huge difference, but it hides your flash and you got less smoke ejecting. And in our game, when it comes to firing your guns, that smoke, it's getting up there. If you stand in one spot and fire your gun off enough, your visibility will go down. Granted, it's not going to be a complete smoke screen, but it's definitely going to change things up a little bit. And and obviously with our weapon handling system, the way you move into walls, that suppressor is going to be a huge pain in the ass if you're trying to get through a doorway sideways, for example.
Oh,
if you're trying
totally.
to see. So there are upsides and downsides to everything. I think we're trying to avoid making a single overpowered weapon loadout, but it might be unavoidable.
No, I mean it makes
You
sense. I
never
mean,
know.
if you put a suppressor on a weapon, I mean the only real downside is weight, extended barrel length, and that's it. Those are
That's another thing.
Those are really the only negatives.
Exactly.
Yeah,
And
the
we
suppressor
wanna-
actually increases your barrel length, so you can't get as close to walls
Mhm.
and that kind
Yeah.
of stuff as well. So
Yeah,
that,
the weapon
that's a
collision comes into play there.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So still like kind of on the topic of weapons, can you go into detail on the weapon licensing that you guys have acquired? Like what kind of real firearms from what companies can we expect in the game?
Yeah, so we've been working closely with Chris, who's been helping us out with a lot of that. Part of this Black Site community, which is really cool. He's gotten us in contact with teams such as FN. We've been doing some talks with Triarch, STI, Trigicon. Chris is good. Polymer 80 is also pretty neat. And if you notice, we've got the Polymer 80 pistol.
Yeah, that thing's
it's
that's
one
real
of the
nice.
supporter edition. Yeah, the PF90C. So we've got a lot of we've been working with a lot of different teams and just talking with them. Nothing set in stone yet necessarily, but we'd love to be showing that off a little bit more. And we'll be doing some more talks ourselves too. So there's there's a lot. Honestly, there's a lot of them.
Fantastic.
I could bring off a bunch like Terran Tactical, High Speed Gear, Magnum Research. But yeah.
I think literally everyone in chat is wondering about the MP7 though.
Damn MP7, what is up with that? I don't get it.
It's Donut's favorite gun.
Everyone loves
It
Don't let
just
him fool
makes
you.
me moist.
He
Makes
loves
me
it.
creamy.
It is a sweet gun. It's super cool.
I like using
honestly.
that word.
It's a really cool gun.
I actually personally wanted the G3 added, so it's
MP7 could be
G3 is it, Gunther?
How about a donut only MP7? No one else
Oh,
gets
that's
it.
hot.
It should have a mustache like keychain on it, dude. Like,
Right
on the back of it.
Oh no, here we go. We're
Little
gonna start adding
bait.
bling, right? We're
Yeah.
gonna start adding bling. Little lips.
Are we gonna have keychains like Rainbow Six Siege? Come on.
100%, yeah. On your helmets though.
Yes,
So-
dangle these
Yeah,
everywhere.
for all that realism, right?
It actually hangs in front of your first-person camera, so don't put your arm dangling.
You have to shake your head to actually see anything,
Gotta
otherwise
have
it
that
gets in
ultimate
the way.
immersion.
Yeah.
All right. So now that we've spoken about the guns, I think we're going to move on to everybody's favorite word that comes up in podcasts is penetration. How can we expect bullets' behavior, like as far as penning walls and them kicking up dirt, and along with like the armor systems as well? How are different bullets going to affect different grades of armor?
Yeah,
What can we
going through
expect to
people.
see? Of course.
And how will the MP7
100%.
destroy everything else in the game?
Exactly.
Well,
Goes
if
for every
Donut's
wall.
carrying it does maximum damage to everyone, 1 hit kill, no matter where.
Maximum penetration too.
Maximum.
It doesn't stop. It doesn't stop.
What's the penetration like in the anal staircase?
It goes straight through some of it. Other parts, it's solid. So that's all I can say.
That depends on how much
Yeah.
of a smooth operator you are, Donut.
It's
Mine doesn't. Look, honestly, mine doesn't penetrate pretty fast, so it's a bit of a downside there. I think we're pretty much stuck on that end. But okay, that didn't hit.
Sounds like
Anyway,
somebody's
so
got
look,
Volp up, huh?
look, as far as it goes, yeah, I'm gonna move on from that one. As far as it goes, like penetration and stuff, it's pretty much it's based entirely on your weapon. So it's based it's based entirely on your muzzle velocity. It's based on the actual round itself. It's based on the material that you're hitting. So we have about 20 materials, I think. 20, Ryan? Is it 20?
Yep. So probably more than that. Probably 48.
More than that.
Exactly.
We got a lot.
But,
we
you know,
got, I think. But ultimately, that's all going to be pretty much.
It comes down to what round you use. So if you're firing an FMJ or a hollow point, it comes down to what angle you're hitting things at. So if you're hitting it straight through, or if you're hitting it at a high hit angle, it's more likely to ricochet. If they're wearing armor, hollow point's not going to go through. FMJ go through, but if they're not wearing armor, FMJ might go straight through them. That kind of it's all in there.
The bullets themselves also are modeled. So we have expansion, for example, for the projectiles themselves, and that is entirely. And the mass, of course, is all calculated to it's exactly the same mass as you would get in the actual round, if you look at tables. So we are trying to be as accurate as humanly possible. And then that obviously then poses a risk for people who are, for example, over penetration for some guns. If you're running FMJ on something like a 7.62, it's going to go through, it's going to go through basically everything.
Absolutely.
Yeah, it's about understanding what kind of mission you're going to, what kind of things you might, if you're firing there, if you pick a 7.62 FMJ and you go into the gas station, probably one bullet go through everything. So watch out for that one.
So what about ammo types? Ammo types.
Yeah, right now we have FMJ and JHP. We're looking at soft point, would be really cool. But as far as it goes, and we may not be adding grain, different grains. I think we'll probably just be sticking with
keep it simple.
A single grain.
Don't need I feel like 18 different versions of 9x18 that are all pretty much useless, right?
Exactly. I mean, we feel like otherwise you do end up kind of gumming it, and it does feel good for some people. Maybe they think that they've got the best setup possible, but it does take a lot of time out of our end too to make sure it all works properly in the first place. So yeah, for right now it's just JHP and FMJ.
Yeah. For those guys in the chat, JHP is jacketed hollow point, is what that stands for.
Right. Yes.
Yeah. I was just clarifying. It's all good. So speaking about hollow points, can we talk about the gore? How in depth is the gore system going to be? Because in the original dev blog, it stated that you guys really wanted to get this high level of gore that would just have a really almost stunning effect on the players when they kill somebody and see the gore. That you see the body and you're just like, oh my god, that guy's face got ripped off by a shotgun.
Yeah, so we dropped the dev blog 2 years ago with a little consideration on how difficult it would be to get that added in and how important it would be. Now, that being said, before anyone leaves, it's entirely still in it's in production. So we're working on it. It's just quite hard to add. So as far as it goes, you got your typical bullet interact, you shoot somebody, there's a bullet hole. And going forwards, we want to definitely be exploring head deformation. So a lot of combat in real life too. I mean, you shoot someone in the body, it's not going to blow a limb off. It's maybe a shotgun up close. You might cause some serious damage. But even then, it definitely depends. The head is where the action's at.
Yeah, everyone wants to see the giblets and the skull fragments and shit.
Yeah, or the head looks like a deflated pufferfish. It just ends up really kind of.
I will say this: if I could shoot a guy in the arm with a shotgun and see his hand get blown off and then see him surrender, that would be pretty cool. Maybe then we could have a use for tourniquets.
Look, yeah, maybe.
Yeah, because you'd have to put it on him before he bleeds out.
Yeah, you'd be dead.
Or a flamethrower to cauterize that. I mean, ultimately, I think we'd love to. We're all huge fans of, and Alex in particular, we're huge fans of Soldier of Fortune 2.
That was a crazy game.
Holy shit, I remember that.
Yeah, so that would be the ultimate goal for us. It's just that people may have noticed in the trailer, I saw a lot of comments, people going, "Oh, I can't wait to see
the gore. I can't wait to see what they're going to do with it. And then you see it, and there's not really that much gore in it. It's just because it is in such a state where it's in a state of flux. You may have some wins, and then all of a sudden it starts to not work properly. So definitely going forwards, we're going to be exploring the best way of doing that. Oh, and there is one more thing we're going to add, which is like arterial stuff for enemies. So you shoot them in the neck, arterial bleed out.
Oh yeah, you capular, venular, and arterial bleeds.
Yeah, brachial and
Yeah.
exactly, and stuff like that. So you got the arms and the legs.
Mm-hmm.
Well, maybe arms and legs,
Creamy.
but right now neck definitely. Creamy.
Hey, that blood will shoot out far. There's a lot of pressure in those arteries. I'll tell you what.
Definitely.
Okay,
Yeah. So
and you can put the tourniquet on the neck too, right?
Oh yeah, that'll totally work.
Yeah,
that's what's meant to happen. Yeah.
BDSM.
That's how it works.
Anyway, so we've covered a lot of ground today and gone over a ton of information about the game. So we're going to start wrapping it up and talking about the future plans for the game that everybody is so eager to hear about. So pre-orders began today. Are there any different versions of the game that people are going to be able to pre-order? What will the limitation be on the pre-orders? And can people just continually ordering all the way up to release? And also, will they receive keys on Steam? Or will it just be a standalone game with your own launcher?
Do you want to answer that, Ryan?
Yep. So we open pre-orders up today. So we have the standard edition, which comes with the full game, and it comes with beta access in June next year. And then we got the supporter edition. So we're offering for the first 1,000 pre-orders there, we're offering an official Ready or Not mousepad that'll ship out to you. It comes with the full game as well, obviously. Comes with beta access next year as well, and then we got alpha access starting in August of this year, and then it comes with the FBI HRT pack, and then a 25% discount on the first expansion. So that's when we would go into another area.
Okay.
So there's no limitations on the pre-order, so they're now open. So they'll be open up until the full release of the game, and you do get a Steam key with that. So it's not a standalone game.
So it will be on Steam.
Oh, yeah.
Yep, definitely.
Awesome.
Yeah. Ideally soon we can open up a wish list for people too, which will be good.
Yeah, that'd be great. Get the Steam store page up, get your videos up on there, all that stuff. Projected release date. Everybody know when they can play it. How soon? How soon, TM?
I'll be right back. No, okay. Do you want to handle it? I could either one.
Yeah, you got this.
All right. Yeah. Look, thanks. Look, yeah. So look, we knew as soon as we were going. Okay, look, how long is it going to take us? We want to make this. We want to make this as perfect as possible. We want to get when people get it in their hands and they start playing it like the full retail game. What's it going to take for us? And unfortunately, yeah, we came to the conclusion like Q4 2020. It is a while away, but you guys would be surprised. It moves pretty quick. So look, and everyone's been really patient with us. I mean, it's pretty incredible to see. There's been some upticks, but that's mostly on us. It's really good, and to most of them, the date will come as a shock. But in order to make that the game that we want to make in our vision, it's kind of the time that we'd need, I guess is the best way of saying it. And there'll be a lot to fill the the void. Is like we got that alpha, as Ryan said, dropping in August, and then the beta in June next year, which should help satiate people. We definitely want to be showing people as much as we've possibly got in that time span, and it's a long time. But I think the best thing to take away from that is like good game dev does take a while. Like if you look at some of the big hitters right now, and I know we're not AAA, but you look at some of those heavy hitters, it does end up being quite. It does end up. It kind of makes sense. Good game dev takes a while.
Well, yeah, it's better to delay it and make sure it's good than release it, half-assed and, make a terrible impression on the game. That's the last thing you guys probably want.
Well, you see how silent we are usually, which is going to change now. But before we wanted to make sure everything we showed we were confident with it, and it was going to be something that people would enjoy. And if you're going to release anything early and rushed, it's just not going to hit. People aren't going to enjoy it. And the pre-orders, they serve as a way for the community to support us if they like what they see. Okay, so no one's forced to do it. We love reading the comments and the people saying this looks really cool. That in and of itself is a great reward to us as well. It's just it's really good seeing people getting excited about this.
Oh yeah, no, everybody on our team, we've been excited for years. This has been a long time in the making. There's no everybody I feel was jebaited by the Rainbow Six Siege trailer that came out on E3. You know what I mean? Like it showed this really emotional, crazy police like tactical experience, and then the Siege we got was really CS:GO with leaning and skins still. You know what I mean? So it's going to be really
Yeah.
cool to see Ready or Not come out and really be like this true SWAT tactical shooter that has not. We haven't had one in years. I mean, shit. It's probably been over a decade since there's been a legitimate one.
Exactly. Yeah. Hopefully, it just lasts through the ages too.
Yeah, well, actually, to add then, so modding. Are you guys doing modding support post release? Is that something that you guys want to do?
Oh yeah.
Yep, absolutely.
Fantastic, because
Definitely.
mods will keep your game alive for years.
It's,
We like it's exactly. I mean, you look at games that dude, Counter-Strike Source is still being played. I mean, it's not really modding actually. That's more just
Counter-Strike
map
Source
making.
was a mod in the first place. So,
There you go.
and that's
Armor. The RHS guys, RHS Escalation, they're doing great stuff with the mods for Armor, and like there's just so much content there that players can then make and then
I mean,
enjoy.
we even pulled in the Special Elite Force creator Easy Street into the
That's right.
development. So he made that mod for a SWAT force. So we're definitely open to modding and that kind of talent as well. It's good.
100%. As soon as we possibly can, once that release drops, we definitely want to be doing that.
Well, I for one, I'm looking forward to the realism. That's for damn sure. It, like Klean just said, you got Siege, CS:GO that's leaning, and skins and shit like that. There hasn't been a good game that's like for real SWAT stuff in a long time. So
Yeah.
I'm really looking forward to that. A lot of those games, a lot of first person shooters just get too goofy for me because I did this kind of shit in real life, and so I'm happy.
We want to avoid as much goof as possible. I think if we ended up doing that, it'd be going in the wrong direction. It'd be swinging in the wrong way.
Yes.
Yeah. Besides, I know what you're going to do for modding first is adding mustaches on everybody, even the chicks.
Mustache plate carriers, dude.
Yep.
Just a mustache with legs. That's your operator.
So we know that Q4 2020 is quite a ways away, but you did say we're planning on, doing an alpha/beta phase for the game. So what can we expect to see during those alpha and beta phases of the game? What can we expect?
Brian, you want to handle it?
Yep. So for the alpha, it is so we don't want to spoil the game. So it will be a section of the game, and it won't spoil the campaign or anything like that. It'll just be standalone almost, but like a campaign mission, and then it'll have some PvP game modes that you can play as well. So, and then that's when we'll open up, or from there you can host your own servers and all that kind of stuff. So that's from the alpha, and then the beta will open up, and that's more of like stress test, and it'll be a similar amount of content, but it'll be opening it up for more people essentially.
Yeah, with the alpha it'll be. I mean, it's an alpha, right? But ultimately, we want to be showing off cooperative as much as possible. It'd be good to show off the single player too, but showing off the cooperative and the multiplayer for sure, and just getting people's opinions on that. In that instance, paying customers getting their opinions on that, because they're going to be the most critical. They're going to be the absolute most, the utmost. Going to have the utmost criticality on that. They're just going to, go hard on us. So I mean, yeah, and then beta definitely will be a little bit larger too.
It's not a fake alpha and beta, in that we wouldn't make changes based on the feedback. So it's real in that we'll take the feedback and we'll potentially adapt certain things for that.
So with the alpha then, are you guys going to do like say just like one alpha period, or are you guys going to do like multiple like say alpha weekends that players will be able to play the entire weekend, and then you take all that feedback, analyze it, process it for the week, and then maybe do another alpha weekend a week or two later? Is that something that's on the table?
So initially we may do alpha weekends, and then after we've done a few of those, we will open it up. So it's just you can continue playing it.
During these alpha weekends, will it be under NDA, or will people be able to make content and show off the game?
It depends on the state of the game too, but
okay.
The alpha weekends will be under NDA.
Okay, cool. Just wanted to clarify.
Yeah, but especially beta in particular too. Like it'll entirely depend on how it's being received as well. But I'd love to.
Yeah.
Any chance for a roadmap? Are you guys going to give out a public roadmap that people will be able to go out and just look at, just to see where development's at, like what you guys are working on, what's coming up, maybe things that haven't even been developed yet that will be worked on in the future, and maybe even things that are just completely complete?
Yeah, okay, I'll handle that one. Yeah, having a roadmap release would be pretty important, I think, and just people knowing exactly where we're at. At least even if it's in the sense of I wouldn't say vaguely know where we're at, but within reason, I guess, because otherwise we're going to be constantly updating that thing. It might get excessive if we're making a million changes at once. So definitely a roadmap is on the horizon. Some stretch milestones that we can possibly get people really excited about, and I can imagine that being accompanied by videos and content that they can just look at and go, okay, so look at this, that's being done. I understand that.
And there's no more silent void, so we'll be making more regular updates and stuff like that. So be aware of what's going on.
Yeah, and hopefully future podcasts too. Just talk about the game some more.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Can you tell us about the DLC? Obviously, the game isn't done yet, so some people may feel it's wrong to bring up DLC, but obviously a lot of developers like to continually support their game after release, and they're thinking about that like as they're developing a game. What are your guys' thoughts on, the content that players will be able to get?
So when it comes to DLC, yeah, definitely. Look, they can expect us to be going international. There's a lot we want to explore. Obviously, we're inspired a lot by films. I won't say which films because that'll pretty much give it away. But there's a lot that we want to be exploring in pretty great detail. I think there's something, but it depends on if you're talking about DLCs or if you're talking about more of like an expansion. So like we'll be definitely dropping DLCs. We'll be dropping content for weapons and etc. And then we'll also be dropping expansions which are more geared towards international or possibly entirely different methods of play. So the first DLC, which I won't talk about just yet because you've got the main game
of course
to release, but it'll be an international agency is all I'll say right now, based on a film.
What
that's
about,
so vague.
What about like free content? Are you guys gonna do like free content for the community, just like anything like that, like maybe different game modes, guns, skins?
Yeah,
yeah,
for sure. I mean, yeah, of course.
So
we're artists.
Sorry, Gunter. When we drop expansion packs, we'll be doing it in such a way that it doesn't split the player base. So we'll drop some free stuff, and then with the expansion pack, you get the maps and the operators and all that kind of good stuff. But you would not be locked out of playing with your friends or anything like that.
Fantastic.
Yeah, definitely. And free DLC is a big thing too. Obviously, is like as I was saying before, like we're artists. A lot of us, we like making things, and if we have the ability to make these things without worry about other issues, of course free stuff will come. We just love making things. I don't see any problem with releasing a bunch of free content, honestly. But yeah.
Keeping with the realism of the game, when can we expect to see the divorce deals?
Taxes DLC?
The
Taxes
crippling
DLC.
alcoholism DLC?
It's coming.
Domestic abuse called DLC.
That would be really funny, like blooper, like just like patrol officer like missions. That would be pretty funny. Pulling up to a trailer park or something.
Discussion go really dark really quickly.
Oh, we went dark. You guys have human trafficking in the trailer. Thank you.
Yeah, but yeah, it's true.
What about the?
I don't know.
Given that, then can you talk about the school mission?
Tell us about human trafficking.
I don't know what I want to say about either of those without ruining anything. The human trafficking is what it is. It's on the label. You're definitely going to be discovering something really, really concerning about the city that you're working in, and there are connections that get made. And as you get towards that the final level, okay, I'm definitely not going to say anything else apart from that. But yeah,
I would stop talking now.
yeah, exactly. Ryan's like messaging me, shut the fuck up. Yeah, we've got and as far as that school mission goes, it's not off the books. We're doing it.
Yes,
and it's going to be an interesting aberration on your regular SWAT level. It's not going to be the clear the room, take down the contact. It's going to be a little more. It's going to need you're going to have to use your head. That's pretty much how it's going to be. You got to identify and then you've got to definitely make a decision based on that, on the situation at hand.
That sounds pretty
Uh,
tense, honestly.
A little different, yeah, a little different, a lot different.
So when you shoot, just real quick to answer someone's question in chat. Well, when you shoot somebody, you spend the next 10 game days drinking beer at home.
That's it. That's exactly right. Although presumably these guys have shot a lot of people in the past. The city isn't very nice. It's a pretty shitty city. It's not creamy. It sucks. So you've got to deal with like a lot of bad guys, and you would assume that these guys are like, for example, Judge. He's a 20-year veteran. 20-year? 10-year veteran. He's a veteran, and then you've got all these other guys who've been working it way longer than him. They've gotten in their fair share of combat and their fair share of altercations. So I think their days of drinking are over. They've evolved into full-blown psychopaths at this point.
So Chicago.
Yeah, actually, pretty much.
Chirac, dude.
Chirac.
So last but not least, if you guys both had to pick one thing that you think is the most unique feature about Ready or Not, what would it be?
Ryan, you want to go first? I talk so damn much that I'll let you go.
I think the couldn't pick one thing, but I think the game itself is unique. It's a modern take on the SWAT 4 game, and I don't think there's nothing else like it with a player controller like the one we have in the game, and then playing as a SWAT officer and handling those kind of situations. Like I couldn't pick any one thing. Like
my favorite
maybe
aspect.
Grunt again.
Yeah, I got something in mind, which I didn't mention before, but I probably should have. Is the procedural nature of a lot of our animations. Pardon me. A lot of for example, the first person controller. A lot of that is procedural. You fire that gun. The animation itself there's a base animation, and then it's layered on top with a bunch of it's being fed data that is generated on the fly in real time, and then it affects the direction that your gun's going to be heading in when you start. If you hammer it in forward or like a moron. It's going to affect where it goes, how it looks, the feeling you get, and that's entirely tweakable on our end. We can, it's entirely adjustable on our end to modify just how that feels. So I think it's a really unique looking game when you start shooting things. Some people may have noticed in the trailer when you shoot the gun, it does get rocked back a fair bit sometimes. A lot of that's just for exaggeration, of course, like realism versus feeling, but there's a lot of that stuff, and all of that is procedural. All of that is modified entirely in real time by the engine, and yeah, it's just fantastic. I think it feels really good. That's the favorite thing about the game.
So, is Donut going to be a playable character then?
It depends. If we ever meet up with Donut and scan him in, he can absolutely be a playable character in the game, mustache included, or no mustache, alternate cosmetic is the, or it's everything but the mustache. So it's like we could work that out.
Just a floating mustache.
I'm down. I'll let you scan me anytime.
All right, fantastic. We'll definitely have to sort something out because that would be really cool. I mean, we're down for scanning most people anyway. Like it's a good lot of fun. We did a lot of that in New Zealand. 200 people, but and it's cool. You just get to talk to them and get their position on things, and even if it's just not about the game, just talking to the people, it's awesome. It's really good. Just scanning individuals. It's great fun.
Myself and Grunter are both scanned into the game, so I'm a dead body somewhere.
You're a shirtless dude you're a shirtless guy in a pool. You're not a dead body though.
I'm in two places. I got scanned twice, so I'm a dead body, and I'm in the I'm in the pool. In my swimming trunks.
And being ego-driven as I am, I made myself a sniper, but I'm probably going to get rid of that because it doesn't look good. So we'll probably end up adjusting the sniper.
Did you say you scanned 200 people?
Yeah.
Did you tell them what they were going to be?
Yeah, and they all signed up. They all agreed. They'll sign.
You're going to be a human trafficker and a pedophile, and you're going to get shot probably. Oh, okay, cool.
Oh, thanks.
Well, this is a great idea for a date at the weekend.
This is in New Zealand, man. They're like chill. They're really laid back. You're like, hey, so you want to be like a suspect? They're like, oh, that sounds good, cuzzy. And you're like, all right, cool. And then basically you just get going. You just get scanning on these guys. We scanned a bunch of kids too, which you could not do here. Like, I mean, not like in anything creepy or anything, but I mean, like here people are way more reserved. New Zealand, it's chill. It's really laid back. Yeah, it was a great experience with scanning these people too.
So you guys did just open up your pre-orders too. And you have your supporter edition, which is obviously for the people who have seen the trailer now, since you guys opened up pre-orders with a gameplay trailer again, which is something I think that's really nice. And you didn't just make some like fucking cinematic to sell people and try and bait them into buying the game before it's even a game. You have your supporter edition, and 1,000 of those people who get the supporter edition first will get some exclusive swag. How will people know if they're within the first 1,000 people?
So you'll have if you're one of the first 1,000, you'll get we have to turn that off manually. So there may be some people outside of that who get the form. It really depends on what time the people who are adjusting that control are around. But if you're within that time span, it'll be, yeah. Ultimately, it's a bit of a pain. But we're going to be giving that out. The first 1,000 people who sign up will be getting a special limited edition Ready or Not mousepad. And that's how you'll know. You'll be able to enter your details that way. We're not going to do anything creepy and get your information some other way. But yeah, look, the supporter edition ultimately is just a way of, like, we've heard a lot of people saying, how do I support you? Like, I want to throw some money at you and do this and that. And it's like, I love the idea of the game. And for those individuals who are so willing to do that, and we're being honest with the release date, it's frankly, it's just I think it's a good gesture, and they get a nice batch of skins out of it. They get a nice bunch of assets that they can then play with as well as access to alpha. But it's by no means enforced. Like, you don't have to get the supporter edition. If you don't agree with it, don't get it.
Well, I mean, if anything, if people are, I mean, you look at the Edge of Darkness edition for Escape from Tarkov, it's $140. It's like a head start bonus. But people buy that knowing, like, hey, yeah, I get some cool swag and some bonuses, but it's really to try and support the development. It's there to support the game. That's why you guys are obviously calling it the supporter edition, is because if you're somebody who is looking at Ready or Not right now, and this looks like a game that you would really like to get behind and put all your energy toward, that extra bit of money does help fund and support the developers by a lot. So
and it's entirely.
Go ahead.
Oh, sorry, go on.
No, go ahead. I was done.
And I mean, it's entirely towards the development. Like, all that money goes entirely towards making sure this game gets done. I mean, it'll get done in any capacity, but it's not like we're going to pocket this money and run. It's entirely for making sure this game is the best it can possibly be. And if people want to help us along with that, that's great, And yeah, but yeah.
So we're about to get to our conclusion here in a bit, and before I get into that, Tweak, Donut, do you guys have any other specific questions you guys would like to ask Ryan or Gunter while we're here?
Just one little thing out of curiosity for me. Do you guys draw any inspiration from the original Fear game? I get those vibes. Just curious on that.
Actually, some of the AI is actually it's from, like, thinking about Fear and how they did that, and then it's a lot of like, sorry, I'm getting confused.
You mean like the way that, because they do end up like eventually
like in Fear, how the AI they'll say what they're doing, and they might not do anything too different from other games, but they feel more real by how they communicate with each other, and they'll say what they're doing, and they'll go do it, and they'll flank, and they do more than just run at you and shoot you.
Yeah, and as far as the gunplay goes, like, we're really obsessed with, like, the big smoke,
Yeah.
So, like, you've got, shooting the drywall, and it's just cloudy. And I mean, before we still have it, but whether or not we continue with it is the parallax bullet holes, directly inspired by Fear. I mean, that is just a great little piece of information. But yeah, I mean, it's definitely a huge inspiration. Like, a lot of the combat, it just feels really punchy in Fear. It feels quite cool. And hopefully we can retain an aspect of that while not going overboard, and still retaining that realism.
And the gore, of course.
All the gore, dude.
Yeah, exactly.
Donut, do you have anything to say in closing?
No, I'm pretty happy, man. They got mustaches, MP7s, and creamy anal staircases.
Nice.
So.
Donut's happy then. Well, then I'd like to open the floor for Ryan and Gunter if you guys have any closing words for everybody here watching today.
Yep, I'd just like to just thank everyone for taking the time to come listen in to this podcast. It's been good to basically come out and be able to announce the gameplay trailer today and actually show off the game and it's good.
Yeah, I mean, thanks
Yeah,
to
just
everyone who's
yeah.
yeah, thanks to everyone who's followed us along the whole way. I mean, it's kind of scary. It's been 2 years and it's our baby, and we're putting it out onto the playground.
Yeah.
Maybe
no,
not baby, but we're putting it out onto the playground, right?
Yeah, it's like if you're dressing it up
now
for
the other-
preschool. Let them
That's
wave,
right.
wave them off on the bus.
I mean, we showed the trailer, we showed the gameplay. I mean, as soon as we dropped that, I had to leave the house. I went up to the gym or something just to get out of the headspace, and get into a different mood. But like, I was sitting there and I was just reading the comments, and there was a lot of support. Like, a lot of people are really understanding, and they do support the game as well. They say, "Oh, this looks really cool," and I mean, I couldn't stop smiling. It was awesome. It's such a great feeling having people enjoy what you think that they should enjoy. You think that they might enjoy. Like. We have this idea in our heads, and we didn't really have anyone to cross-reference it with for 2 years. And to still come out and have people support that is just a great feeling. And obviously, we've had a lot of people along the way who've been providing a lot of support with us. And we're appreciative of everybody who's been following Ready or Not through its development. And if they continue, that's great. If not, that's fine too. Thanks for being along for the ride.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, ultimately, it's just a good feeling to have this out there finally.
Absolutely, man. I mean, I think everybody's ecstatic. Ryan and Gunter, guys, thank you both so much for joining us. Donut, Operator, Tweak, obviously, thank you guys for being here, helping co-host with me. Sorry, Donut, I forgot to introduce you, but you guys know who Donut is now. He likes MP7s and mustaches and anal staircases. So if you guys would, please spam some love in the chat for our two developers, Ryan as well as Gunter here. This is a game that Blacksite as a community is going to be working very closely with throughout its development, and it's going to become a pillar of a part of our community. So we'd love to begin creating a similar system that you guys are already familiar with some of our other games that we cover, as well as rooms in our Discord for you guys to meet other people and play with. I'm very excited for the future of this game. I'm very excited to eventually show you guys this game and show you guys really what the hype is all about. If you guys want to see future podcasts here on the channel, hit that follow button, !cast. Be sure to go give Donut Operator and Tweak a follow. They stream as well as YouTube. Really great content creators. And again, Ryan, Gunter, thank you so much for being here. Until next time, thank you guys for showing up. Thanks for watching, and we'll see if you guys are ready or not.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
You know, I wonder if that's like a part of the single player. Because I know that they said they weren't going to have too many cinematics. I wonder if that's where it's going to go. Well, oh no, that is copyright. Don't want to do that. Well, that was an interesting podcast. What did you guys think? It was all right? Meh. I think I might make a video on the, this thing right here. The thing saying how it's kind of expensive and stuff. I'm probably gonna get it anyway though. But did they say the release date? The release date is going to be somewhere in Q4 of 2020. It's gonna be a while away. The view count on that stream was around 5,000 to 6,000 people. Yeah, around there. It was a lot higher when I was looking at it earlier. It was around 6,000 people. Well, I think we are good for today. I'm gonna show off a quick meme that I took a part in. And I thought it was pretty cool myself. So yeah, I'll just end the stream with this. Wait.